Oh boy. Oh, geez. Turn this way. Oh my gosh. Is there anybody on here? It looks like maybe 28 people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 28 people, 30 people. Yay. Yay. Let's get up to 3,000. That would be nice. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, welcome everybody who's on here to the live. I'm going to give everybody a few more minutes. I'm going to maybe see who's over here in the chat. We got hello from Tucson at Jean Jessup. Hi, Jean. Nice to see you. Anita. Will any day now mean 5D ascension? I'm not going to answer questions just yet because I've got some messages and announcements and things, and I also want to let a few more people come on here. Hello from Norway. Hi, Norway. Love them Vikings. Hungary. Hello, Maria in Hungary. Hi, Rick, Zerk. Hello from Estonia. Wow, Estonia. I don't know that I've ever had anyone on my videos from Estonia. That's awesome. A country that I want to visit someday. I have a whole list of Eastern European countries I want to go to. New Zealand. Welcome, welcome, Fiona. Hello, Carol Allred. Mount Shasta. Yay. Got Will Hosun, Cecilia. Welcome, Jean from Idaho. Julie Meyer from Indiana. Hello, welcome. Houston, Texas. Cindy, hi. Got Brian, the Solar Bee, Northern Nevada. Awesome. Oh, Brian Singh. Hi, Brian. Yay, Brian's in the house. Thank you, guys. Are we getting any financial relief soon? I'd say no. Everybody keeps focusing on that. And I've said in multiple videos that if you keep focusing on when is the financial stuff coming, you're actually not going to ascend, unfortunately, because ascension is not about financial stuff. In 5D, there is no financial system. So everybody who's worried about financial systems and that's all they're focusing on, they will be staying stuck in 3D basically forever. Let's see. Hello from Billings, Montana. Love Billings. Okay. Been through Billings. Absolutely. Let's see. South Wales, UK, another place I want to visit, but not until they remove the radical jihadis out of the UK, because you go there, you can get gang raped by radical jihadis. Let's see. Hello from Michigan. You're welcome. Portugal. Carlos. Hi, Carlos. So Carlos is my buddy who created this lovely thing that I have my water charging on. I'm charging my water. He's on Etsy. And I've posted his stuff on Facebook before. He creates the beautiful ankhs that I wear and a lot of amazing organite stuff that he makes. See, California, we've got France, Valérie, bonjour, or actually it's bonsoir there, I think, because it is late at night. Comment ça va? How's it going? Rochester, Minnesota. Oh my gosh, I feel so sorry for everyone in Minnesota. That's one of my home states. I came from Minnesota originally, and Minnesota, Michigan. That's where my family hails from. And Minnesota and Michigan have been totally taken over by the radical crazy pants people and the jihadis. Just sad. Let's see. Blessings and love from Nevada, Northeast Nevada. Camille, welcome. Coeur d'Alene. Elaine, hi, Elaine. We've got Beckara Kurt, welcome. Nicole Antoinette, hello. Steel Magnolia, Kelsey Cook, welcome, welcome. Tanya, Tammy Routley in Canada, otherwise known as China number two. Oh, sorry. My family, I have my mother's families all up in Canada and under the communist regime up there. It's really sad. I used to go to Canada like all the time to visit, and I stopped going when it got taken over by communism. Let's see. Niagara. Oh my gosh. I want to go to Niagara Falls so bad. Susie, you lucky dog. You live near Niagara. It's gorgeous there. Oklahoma, we got River Run Goldens. Welcome. Estella Scoto from Virginia. Welcome. Christina. Welcome. Christina Gotti or Gate. Free Spirit. Welcome, Tanya Love from Florida. Hello, Florida. I love Florida. Florida is one of my happy places. I love going on vacations to Florida. It's literally awesome. Except for Key West, which is full of stinky sargassum and very haunted. It's actually the most haunted place in Florida and cursed too, by the way. They literally slaughtered tons of Native Americans there and then built it right over the top of Native American burial grounds. So it's, yeah, pretty cursed and haunted for a whole list of reasons. Let's see. Cecilia, she said she bought the Ankh from Carlos and loves it. Yeah, Carlos's Ankhs are super powerful. They actually regulate and distribute your energy and frequency, and they keep your, what do you want to call it, your chakras aligned. They keep all your chakras aligned. I mean, they're just awesome. So Brandon Wong, welcome. He said he loved my book, Walking with Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. Thank you. I'm glad you like that. We just basically just wrote our family history. That was it. I mean, it's not like it was like a made up fairy tale. It was our literal family history. So we just wrote it we just put it in writing. Let's see. Hello from SoCal. It's getting hot over. Oh, I'm sure it is. It's going to be up to 100 degrees where I'm at this week. Thank God for air conditioning, and thank God I live on the side of a mountain, and half of my house is basically a cave in the mountain. So I can, if it gets too hot on the upper level, I can go hide in the cave part, which is where I am right now. Actually, I'm down in the lower cave part. Nicole Campbell. Hi, Nicole. Long time no see. Nicole came to my women's retreat that we had in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That was so much fun. I wish I could do another retreat. I wish I could do retreats all over the world, but I'd have to have a really rich benefactor fund all of them for me, because I cannot do retreats anymore, unfortunately, because of the cost. Too expensive and super high risk, because if people don't sign up for those retreats, then I lose thousands of dollars that I don't have. So yeah, so I had to stop doing them. It was just too risky. Hello from Denmark, Christina. Another place I really want to go, Alberta. Love Alberta. Alberta is actually one of the most, I'd say Alberta and British Columbia are the two most beautiful places in all of Canada. They're the most beautiful places up there. Très belle. Let's see, Alberta. Let's see, Carlos, from Carlos. Hi, what's it say? Angelica Felix. Angelica, welcome. Hi from Arkansas, Angie. So Jean Jessup asked an interesting question about shadow work done. So I'm teaching a shadow work class on Saturday. So we're going to do this. First thing I want to do is place protection around all of you and around myself, and welcome all 93 people, or 96. We have 96. Welcome all 96 people. Hopefully the number will keep going up. Somebody was on and then they checked off. So now it's going down. It's going down to 94. Interesting. I want to place protection around everyone and this video. And then I have some announcements, and then I'm going to tell you some surprise messages. I have a message, a very short message from Yeshua. I have another message that's longer from a surprise being who popped in, member of my star family who popped in, and it's all good. And so the first thing we're going to do is I call upon our Father, Mother, God, Adonai, Abun, Prime Creator Consciousness, who made my soul and the souls of everyone watching this video now, whether you are live or on the recording or replay. We call in Father, Mother, God. We call in Archangel Michael. We call in the guardian angels of myself and every person on this video. We call in the heavenly host of angels. We call in Yeshua Christ, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Saint Germain, Melchizedek, all of my guides and family in the higher dimensions. And we ask you to place multi-layered shields and the full armor of God around each and every person watching this video now, and around myself, around protection around our electronic devices. We do not consent to interference from any negative entities, negative beings, negative organizations, AI, negative frequencies, energy weapons, anything at all. We do not consent. We only consent to the highest frequency of love and light coming through this broadcast, coming through this video, across all space, time, dimensions, universes, and in this now moment, in the name of Yeshua the Christ. And so it is done. Amen and amen. All right. So announcement time. Okay, so this coming Saturday, hello from Tennessee, Bardstown, Oklahoma. We got Joyce in the UK. Hello, hello. K Meadows, hi. Vampy Ragdolls from Portugal. Hello. Ananda family. Okay, we have my little sister, medium Mikala, in the house. Welcome, dear. Speaking of which, so we've got these guys here with us today, and this is a picture you can order off of Mikala, the Ananda family. You can order off her website. I have a link that I'll put below when I repost this video. It's not on there now, but after the video goes up on YouTube, I will put all of the info, and you can go to the links. You can go to my other videos to see these links too. These links are on descriptions of all my videos, but this is the real Yeshua and Archangel Michael. This is really what they look like. And so we've got them, and then we've got this one. And if you want this, you can order it from me. This is my sister, what she looks like for reals. That is what she looks like. And it's interesting because I looked pretty much exactly like that at age 15 in this life. And my skin was dark like that too, because I was always in the sun. Just another picture. Except I didn't have hazel eyes. She has hazel eyes. And I had blue eyes in my last lifetime. I had really crystal blue eyes. So anyways, so that one, I have that picture. If you want it, you can message me. But we have them here with us. They are standing here now. So, all right. So the announcements are this Saturday is my shadow work class. You have to do shadow work. It's really, really important. What is shadow work? Well, there's the Jungian Carl Jung, who is a Swiss scientist. He invented the original shadow work in like the 1900s or late 18, I can't remember, but it was a long, long time ago, like 100 years ago. And there are a lot of psychiatrists and counselors that are trained in it. And that shadow work has to do with integrating in all the parts of yourself that people have been putting down, diminishing, or you've been stuffing in the background. So things like people telling you that you're fat, you're stupid, you're ugly, all that kind of thing, integrating in the fact that you're not any of those. If you put aside an art career because people will tell you you'll never make it as an artist, you're stupid, you're never going to be an artist. So then you put your artistic abilities in the back burner. I like to tell the story of my mother. That was done to her. She wanted to go to Paris and be an artist. And instead, she wound up becoming a nurse, and she was unhappy her whole life because my grandpa made her do that, because my grandpa and grandma put her down, and she could have been a fabulous artist. I saw all her sketches. She had a sketchbook which disappeared. I went to find it when she died. She died 20 years ago. And I went to find her sketchbook and it was gone. I don't know what happened to it, but she was an amazing artist, and she was miserable her whole life because she didn't get to fulfill her true mission and her true passion in life. And so, shadow work, a lot of it has half of shadow work has to do with reintegrating back in all of those really beautiful parts of yourself that have been hidden in the shadows, stomped down, limited, pushed down by negative entities and people, negative beings, school teachers, your family, your neighbors, just a society in general, telling you you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you're not this, you're not all those things. It's about reintegrating back in all of those positive parts. The other part of shadow work is about eliminating all of the dark parts of your being, like things like jealousy, meanness, if you bully other people, narcissism, hate, prejudice, racism, and on and on. There's like a huge list of things, and there's actually 3 or 4 parts to this, because you've got the people who follow me are not the people who are going to be obviously pedophiles and murderers and killers and rapists and stuff like that, because that's all shadow as well. And those beings are all going to be removed from this earth really soon, so you don't have to worry about them. But if you're going to stay here, you have to work on the dark parts of yourself that are what we call not harmful to others, but necessarily, but they're harmful to you. Things like being jealous, things like vanity, things like greed, things like hoarding, addictions. All of these things need to be cleared and integrated. And you need to make amends for it. And you need to, how you want to say, heal yourself and become a whole being and come back into oneness with Prime Creator, with Father, Mother, God. And so Saturday, I will be teaching a class and helping you do all that, bringing back in all the parts of you that have been minimized and put down and all that kind of thing. And then reintegrating back in, all those good parts of you, and then eliminating all the bad parts. Like if you have a smoking addiction or a drinking addiction or something like that. Woo, it's getting hot down here now. Sorry, I'm like sitting here sweating my butt off. So we're gonna be doing that. Somebody said, Kimberly, you have the hair color of the Mary Magdalene blood. So, okay, so I want to talk to you guys really quickly, because she said I have the hair color. So let me explain something to you. When we come back in, when we reincarnate into a body, we come in with one aspect of ourself over and over and over again that is always the same, so that we're recognized by other souls who come back with us. Because a lot of you have been there with me 2,000 years ago. A lot of you have been in ancient Egypt with me. A lot of you have been in Atlantis with me, Lemuria with me, ancient Ireland, ancient England, ancient Greece. A lot of the places where I've been in past lives, you guys have been there with me. And so how we recognize each other, it's usually through the eyes or the hair or something about us. Well, I've shown you guys pictures in my videos of what I look like. I pretty much looked just like her 2,000 years ago, except my eyes were blue. My skin was very dark, but I did come in with literally the exact same hair. So in this life, the only thing really similar about me is the hair. I came in with the hair, my eyes. And it's interesting because everybody in my community and everybody, when I've worked in business, I worked in business and industry over the years of my life. I was always known in the business community by my hair. Everywhere I go, like in my community, everybody knows me by my hair. And my hair is, I always say it's my crowning glory. I won't cut it. I get it trimmed every now and then, like maybe once a year, twice a year. But that is the one thing I came in with that is the same. The rest of me is completely different, very, very different, because I definitely don't have the blue eyes. And it's interesting. This is my first incarnation with brown eyes, because every incarnation I've ever had on Earth up until this life, I had blue eyes. And it's so funny. I was having a conversation with my soul family about this, because my dad in this life and his whole family all had blonde hair, blue eyes. So I asked, why did I not get those blue eyes? I got the brown eyes from my mother's, actually, I look like the Spanish ancestors in my family. I have an ancestor that came from Spain, a bunch of them, and I look like them. So I'm actually a mix of Spanish and Scandinavian and Russian and Polish and Austrian and Italian and all kinds of different different things. So in this life, but I did not come in with those blue eyes, which is interesting because I thought for sure with my dad in this life being a blue-eyed guy and me having blue eyes every single life until now, you would think I would have I would have done it. So somebody asked if Ashtar Sheeran's the same being as Archangel Michael. No, hell no. And I honestly think Ashtar Sheeran's a bunch of baloney. I think that's a new age made up thing. I've never asked about that. I've just always had a bad energy vibe with the Ashtar Sheeran because you know that the whole Ashtar thing, they don't talk to humans. The Ashtar Command is actually a military force and they don't engage with humans on this earth. There's a lot of people being tricked by false light entities. Let me ask. I want to ask, is Ashtar Sheeran an actual person? Ashtar Sheeran an actual person? No. That's what I thought. I didn't think so. I get really negative vibe when I check into that. Ashtar, there's Ashtar Command. Ashtar Command is real. It's actually a space military force. And there are the people who communicate with Ashtar Command are part of it. So we do have some, how do you want to say, embodied people who are in physical body forms. They're in physical human bodies that are part of Ashtar Command. They're actually part of that military, that space military, and they have communication back and forth with Ashtar Command. So there are those people who do, but the rest of the humans on Earth who claim they're talking to some Ashtar person are full of baloney. They're either lying or they're being deceived by a false light entity, or they're being mind controlled with MK Ultra or the devices, frequency devices or something like that. But regular average humans or whatever, even starseeds cannot just sit and blab with Ashtar Command. That's not a thing. It's not possible because they don't engage with humans. The only humans they're engaging with on the surface are the military Ashtar people that are embodied here, because there are many that are embodied here. So those are they're communicating with their people, but they're not going to communicate with the rest of us. Like I can't have a conversation with them, even if I tried. And I can, honestly, if I want to, I could talk to any being out there in space that I want to, but definitely not them, because they're not interested in talking to me. They don't care to talk to me. I'm not on their wavelength. I'm not involved with what they're here to do. They're here to do a military operation. I'm not part of their military. So it would be like me wanting to go have a conversation with General Patton or somebody like that, like take a time machine back in time and go chat with General. I mean, I have nothing in common with him. There's nothing I'm going to gain from that or get out of it. Soaring Free Eagle. Hello. Okay, so I'm teaching the class Saturday. It's on my learnitlive.com page. You can go there to sign up for that, and that's the shadow class. My new book, Elementals of Gaia Oracle book, that's on Amazon, all over the world. So it's worldwide, and basically put the cards into a book format. There's instructions on how to use it. You'd use it similar to how you use a deck of cards. You can just open the book to a page, you can meditate on it. I give you instructions on all the different various ways you can use it to get your answers. But your question's always going to be, what does God want me to know today? Or what does Yeshua, or what does my angels want me to know today? And then you're going to open it up to the answer. Like maybe it's the answer's falling on this one for you guys right now. That's the scribe. So that's for you. So the scribe is telling you that it's time to take up writing, write a blog, write a book, write a biography, write stories, write poetry, or write in a journal every day. It's time to embrace your creativity and write things down. Let your imagination run wild, or write something serious. If you already thought about this before and you've been procrastinating, this picture is telling you it's time to do it now. No more procrastination. If you have not thought about writing, then this card is encouraging you to start writing now. Writing is extremely healing, cathartic, and spiritual. So just so you know, part of the shadow work you're going to be doing if you take that class is you're going to have to do journaling. You're going to have to do writing, because that's part of shadow work, is doing journaling and writing. So those are the two announcements, is just the class and the book. And now I have a beautiful message. Well, maybe not so beautiful. So I had a conversation with Yeshua yesterday for a long time. Most of it was personal, so I can't share it here. Except for the fact that they keep promising me I'm going to get a full body healing really soon, which is nice. It hasn't happened yet. So I asked him a question. I said, what is going to happen with the war going on in Iran? I asked that question. The answer is the Iran war that you see on your television is not what is really happening. It is really the fight over the control of the Abaddon Stargate. The Stargate is being taken over by the Galactic Federation. The people of Iran will be liberated soon. Okay, so that was his answer about what's going on with that. He said the people are going to be liberated soon, and this has really all been about taking over the Abaddon Stargate, and that's what the real war has been about. So, all right, I asked him the next question. I said, what about all the other Hadron colliders? Like China had one, and there's a few in the US and a few all over the place, all these smaller Hadron, because we know they permanently shut down CERN. It was taken over by the Galactics and by the White Hats, by the Alliance. And the answer to the question is, every Hadron Collider has been dismantled by the Galactic Federation. That's the answer to the question. So this is from Yeshua. This was all from him. I asked him some personal questions about just my complete apathy lately. Like, I just don't even feel anything anymore right now, like, except for, I said the only emotion I've been feeling lately is just tons of sorrow, tons of sadness, and tons of not kind of grief, I guess you can say, mostly just sadness and sorrow, but nothing else. And I said, I just don't even feel joy anymore. I just feel sad all the time. He told me that I was taking on the sorrow of the planet right now, that I was taking that on. And that is why I'm feeling that way. So I have to do some work on myself to release all of that, because I do a lot of crying and it's not good. Not good. So the other message from him is the old guard that ran the earth has all been removed. So all the people who were in charge of controlling this domain, what we call the earth, this little slave planet or hell planet, whatever you want to call it, they have all been removed now. So what's left are all the minions that are clueless that their overlords have been removed. They don't know. They're like running around with like chickens with their heads cut off. Okay. So now we've got a message from Archangel Raphael. We've got a message from Archangel Raphael. So Archangel Raphael came in. So let me explain why he came in. So I had on my wall, I have pictures. I have an altar, and on the altar, I've got a statue, a huge statue, Archangel Michael. I have a statue of Yeshua. I've got pictures of Mother Mary. I've got a couple of saints that I really love, like Saint Teresa, the little flower, and some other saints, Saint Guadalupe. I've got just different, saints on my altar and stuff, and then candles, and I've got crystals on there. Well, up above my altar, I have pictures of specific angels and Yeshua, and I also have pictures of my family, but right above my altar. So the picture of Archangel Raphael kept falling off the wall continuously. It just kept falling off and falling, and I put it back on and fall off again. And I'm like, okay, this isn't a message. I don't know what is. So I was talking with Yeshua. I'm like, Yeshua, Archangel Raphael obviously has something he wants to say. Can you please bring him in to chat with me now? Because he obviously has something to say. So let's hear it. Okay, so he came in. So here's his message. This is for you, for all of you. All right. You're going to love this. So he's part of the Emerald Order. He actually is almost like the head of the Emerald Order, you might say. And I'm also part of the Emerald Order, by the way, which is why he communicates with me. I'm a member of that Emerald Order. A lot of you might be as well. So he said the Emerald Order is going to meet with the light warriors on the earth soon. Okay. So events are going to start happening, you guys. And he said the Emerald Order is going to meet with all of you. Who are the light warriors? Well, all of you guys that are following me here on this channel. So you will be meeting with the Emerald Order. Why will you be meeting with them? He said they are going to be instructing all of the healers on Earth for the coming Earth changes. So there's going to be a lot of shifts and changes and things going on. They may be meeting with you while you're sleeping at night. You may be getting pulled up and met with that way. They didn't explain to me exactly how they're meeting with you. So it could be at night while you're sleeping, you're going to get, your soul's going to go up and meet with them. It could be that we all get brought to a certain location. They didn't really tell me the particulars. He just said the Emerald Order is going to be instructing the healers on Earth, also all the light warriors. They're going to be instructing you on leadership stuff and things that you need to know and things you need to do with the coming Earth changes. He wants you to know that heaven hears all of your prayers, every one of you. And he wants you to know, I'm getting like chills up and down my spine right now. The answers to all of your prayers are coming soon. Okay. The answers to all your prayers are coming soon. So he wants you to know that. And here, I'm going to do this. Okay. That's better. All right. Okay. He said the earth is about to go through massive changes. And massive changes are going to be, of course, earthquakes, tidal waves, all kinds of shifts are going to happen. You don't want to be on the ocean, but I will tell you that if you live at the ocean or you're there on vacation, if you're one of us, if you're a light warrior, your guides are going to get you out of there before something bad happens. So don't freak out or go into fear mode. You have spirit guides and angels that will make sure you're at a wedding or you're away on a vacation or you're somewhere else other than on the coast when the bad stuff happens. So don't get upset about it. And your family members too. So don't worry. You are very protected and you are very loved. You are very loved by me and by all these beings up there. Okay. So I asked about our weather. I said that there's 25,000 people that dropped dead in a 1 week time in Europe. The worst was France, 5,000 and something deaths, and then Germany, Italy, Greece, and just a whole list of countries in Europe. That was the last week of June. They had, and just in the last week of June, they had 25,000 deaths. Now, since then, they probably had a lot more. I don't know how many more. But that was just the statistics from that. And so I said, it seems like the earth is just heating up and heating up and heating up, which I know is not caused by global warming. That is bullshit. The global warming is being caused by directed energy weapons, HARP, all of their, their weaponry that they use. They're creating the false inflation of the heat. They also have stuff they're doing with the sun, and then the real sun is heating up and amping up the earth with heat as well, just because the solar activity is ramping up for the ascension. So that's causing some of this, unfortunately. So I asked, what about our weather and the heat issues and the deaths? His answer, this was Archangel Raphael. He said, your weather will be changing after the big purification event. The entire earth will be 74 degrees. So he said that basically after the purification, we're going to go back to how we were when we were the Garden of Eden before the fall of Atlantis. The entire earth was about 72 to 74 degrees. And that's what it's going to go back to again. And it's going to be a tropical garden. Everything's going to be restored. Everything's going to be beautiful. I asked, what about snow? He said the reptilians and the Anunnaki created snow, and they also created the really bad cold weather and all the seasons like winter and all that. That was all created by them. He said they created that to cause suffering. He said before Atlantis fell and before the reptilians brought in the fake moon, which is a big Death Star, basically, it's made out of metal and it's hollow. Before they brought that in, the entire Earth was approximately like between 72 and 74 degrees, which is why the whole Earth was the Garden of Eden. That's what he said. He said, the rain that feeds your, this is his words. I wrote it down word for word, the way he said it. The rain that feeds your vegetation on Earth was scheduled to happen once a day at night when most humans were sleeping. Earth will be restored to that again. So I got to tell you all a story. For the last 30 or more years of my life, I'm always telling my husband and friends and all kinds of people that if I were God and I created this earth, I would make it so it rained once a day at night while everybody was sleeping. And then during the day, it was beautiful sunshine everywhere. And you didn't have torrential downpours and flooding and just all these awful things that go on, which were all created to create mass destruction, mass suffering by the Anunnaki and the reptilians. They created all that. That's why we have all the mass flooding, all that, all of the crazy weather that happens on this planet is not supposed to happen. All of the planets out in space that are in higher density consciousness levels like 3D and 5D, or I'm sorry, like 5D, 6D, 7D, their weather is regulated. It's regulated. It's not this, oh, it just torrential downpours and flooding or tsunamis or not tsunamis, hurricanes, tornadoes, all this kind of stuff. All those things were all created by the bad guys. They created the tornadoes, they created the hurricane, all the things that cause mass destruction and mass death and mass suffering were created by the dark ones. Okay. So Archangel Raphael says that the earth will be restored to that again, where we have it regulated and it will be 72 to 74. And I said, well, what about like the seasons? What's going to happen to the 4 seasons and everything? He said there will be 3 seasons in the mountains. You will have spring, summer, and fall because it's at a higher elevation, so it will be cooler. But he said you won't have winter. It's not going to have snow. So everybody who loves to downhill ski, you would probably have to go somewhere where they recreate that with fake snow or something, because the snow isn't going to happen. Like that won't happen in the future. And then he said at sea level, you will have spring and a very mild summer. And the hottest temperature will only get to 74 degrees all year long. He said it's basically going to be forever a spring/summer where the trees are always renewing the fruit and the vegetables and everything. All the beautiful stuff's always renewing. He said this made my heart like feel so happy. He said the flowers will sing. All of the flowers will sing. And so then I said, will the grass sing too? Because I've heard stories of people who went to heaven and they said the grass was singing and everything was singing. And he said, yes, all living things on the earth will hum. They will hum at a certain frequency that humans and animals will hear. So everything, the flowers are going to sing, the grass is going to sing, the trees are going to sing, and we're going to hear it. So it's going to be similar to the movie Avatar. If you've seen the original Avatar movie, we're going to be really in tune with all the nature. After the event happens, we're going to go up and touch a tree. We'll be able to like connect to its consciousness and actually have a conversation with that tree. Because most trees, not all the trees, but most of them have consciousness. I've covered this in past videos. So everything has consciousness. The flowers have consciousness. The grass has consciousness. So this thing of, oh, you're killing animals and eating them and they have consciousness. Well, every time you walk on the grass, you're stepping on consciousness. Every time you pick a flower, you're killing consciousness. So it's all conscious. So that's the end of the messages. And now we're going to go to Q&A. But I'm going to have to go all the way up to the top. So first I want to apologize to anyone if I skip your question. If you guys can help and moderate for me here, if I miss somebody's question, because I'm going to go back up to the very top. I want you guys to step in and let me know, because first of all, my vision's not that great. And second of all, it's kind of overwhelming when you have hundreds and hundreds of questions. So we have 182 of you here. Welcome, everybody. The first question I see here, let's see. Okay, the first question I see, will CERN be shut down? CERN being shut down have a more positive impact on our lives? Yes, absolutely. So I don't know if any of you have noticed that since they shut down CERN, the energy has shifted. Everything, even the timeline, everything has shifted. What's interesting is there's a lot of people passing away, a lot of celebrities like Sam Neill, who was one of my favorite actors back in the day when I liked actors, before I found out they were all pedophiles. He just passed away, age 70 something, and it was a very sudden, unexpected death. We had that Lindsey Graham guy the other day. There's a whole bunch of people that are checking out right now, and I noticed that they shut CERN down, and then a massive amount of people are like leaving the planet. So that had an impact on that for sure. But there's just a lot of weird things that are happening. Like I'm noticing people who I thought were dead years ago are still alive, and people who I thought were alive are now dead. And there's just strange shit going on. So there is that. But yeah, it's going to affect us in a positive way. We're not going to, when that was turned on, it was causing a low humming like sound that was disrupting everything. It was affecting the frequency of the whole planet in a really negative way. They were also opening portals and letting in to really demonic realms, and letting in all kinds of demonic entities and stuff that were really bad. They were changing timelines to bad timelines. They were just doing terrible things with CERN. It was just being used for horrific, awful things. The worst thing of all is they were trying really hard to create a black hole to suck the Earth into, to destroy the whole planet. That was the worst of it. And so the answer to your question, was it being used to keep us in lower frequencies, is yes. Was it being used to manipulate timelines? Yes. So yes and yes, that's the answer. Somebody said a young boy created a video depicting himself as a kind of prophet, saying a couple months ago there'd be severe earthquakes in Venezuela, would release something scary from under the ground. There's all kinds of scary shit hiding under the ground. Don't go into fear about it. It's not going to affect you personally. Anything that is released from anywhere is going to be neutralized by the Alliance and by the Galactics. So don't put yourself into a place of fear over all this. Anybody who's sitting there putting videos out about this is being released and that awful thing's being released and the giants are now being released, and it's just all fear porn. And sorry, I'm noticing something. It's all fear porn. Don't put yourself, you're lowering yourself into that 1, 2, 3D vibration. Don't do that to yourself, please. Okay. When will Palestine be free? I can't say the name of the country because I'll get my video shut down. When will they be free? I would say when the Mossad and the Zionists are taken down, the bad guys, the Khazarians. I'm not talking about the Jewish people. Okay, I love the Jewish people just like I love all the Christian people and all the other people on this planet who worship God, the people who actually worship God. They will be free, either one of two things. Either the event will happen, and then of course they're going to be free. And I'm talking about the big purification. Then they're going to be free. Or eventually the bad guys that are running all the show, and from what I've heard, they are the center of all the trafficking on this planet as well. Once they're taken down, then the people in country P will be free. And trust me, I want them to be free too, but you have to get rid of the terrorists that are there, because there's a huge terrorist group that's preventing those people from being free. So you've got to take out a lot of factions. You've got to take out the terrorist guys that are there that start with letter H and end with letter S. You've got to take out the MOSAD. You got to take out the, the Khazarians. You got to take out all those guys. And then, and so as far as, do I know an answer for dates? No, I never give dates as a psychic, because if you're a real psychic, you know that there's no time at all outside of Earth, and there's no time in the higher dimensions. And I'm getting my information from God and from Yeshua and from these beings that are in higher dimensions, and they are outside of time. There is no time where they are. So they can kind of give me guesstimates, like they can say maybe 2 months, maybe a year, but they cannot say, oh, on this date or by this date, because their timing is different than ours. And so anybody who gives you a date is probably full of shit. In fact, there's several psychics that I keep an eye on, because you know that thing about keeping your enemies close at hand. It's part of the Art of War book by Sun Tzu, but you keep your enemies close. So I keep a lot of phony psychics under my radar, and I look at what they're teaching all of you that's bullshit. And one of the things that I see is a lot of these phony psychics putting out an exact date on June 26th, this is going to happen, and on this date this is going to happen, and those days come and go and nothing happens. And that's because those psychics are full of bullshit. Any psychic who's giving you exact dates, they're not good. They're either liars, they're making shit up for views, they're trying to get views, or they're a good person who is being totally bamboozled by dark entities that are giving them dates. Because I actually know a few psychics that I keep an eye on that they're not a bad person, but they are being manipulated by dark entities who are feeding them wrong information. So, okay, so let's see. When will okay, yeah. Should Texans be worried about the data centers? No. Yes and no. Okay, so data centers, they are possibly going to allow these data centers to drain out all the rivers, drain out all the water, and make it all go away. And that is going to be to force humanity to rise up and take the country back, because humans are not doing anything. They're just sitting around and bitching and complaining, and they're not standing up and rising up and doing anything to save themselves. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Yeshua's not coming to save you. The galactics are not here to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. We have to stand up. And so if it takes, basically, Yeshua said that everybody needs a near-death experience in order to get them to wake up. So the only way you're going to wake people up is you take away all their water, you take away all their electricity, you take away their food. There might be food shortages. These things are going to happen. They're coming. Really bad shit is coming. Okay, just to warn you. And you're all protected. Don't go to a fear place. You're going to be fine. You will have food. You will be taken care of. God is not going to let you down. But the normies are going to have an ass kicking. Okay. The people who are awake, you guys will have people guiding you and telling you, okay, go get some food, go do this, go do that. You will know how to take care of yourself and your family. You will be fine. Trust me. But what's going to happen is all the normies are going to get a super huge ass kicking that's going to force them to stand up and take the country back from the communists, take it back from the lefties, the jihadis, the caliphate that's trying to take over all of that. And the data center, the AI, they're trying to take, we've got 3 things trying to take over this country right now. We've got radical ISLAM trying to take over the country. We've got communism trying to take over the country. And we have AI trying to take over the country. So we've got those 3 things all trying to take over the country. Do you think any of them are going to win? Nope. Hell no. Why? Because God wins. God always wins. And God is not connected to AI. God is not connected to communism. And God is not connected to radical ISLAM. That is all satanic. It's all satanic. So somebody said, will any day now mean 5D ascension in July? So yeah, any day now means 5D ascension for the first group of people. 5D ascension is going to be in 3 groups. It's going to be the first group, which will be the leaders and the healers. They will go in the first wave of ascension. Then there, within 5 years, there'll be a second wave, and then another group will go, and then another 5 years or so, and another group will go. And 15 or so years later, by that point, everybody who's left here will all be eventually 5D, everyone. So there's that. So everybody will eventually be there that stays here, if you're going to stay here. Okay, so I'm going to come down lower to questions. Somebody said, do you think you will do an update with Yeshua? Yeah, well, I just did an update. I just did that. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah, okay. So can you guys please put your questions in all caps, because it's really hard to find them unless they're in all caps. So please push your questions into all caps. Somebody said Nicole Antoinette, I went to like the video, and the first time the number of likes was 33 and now it's 55. Wow. Okay. So 33 is Christ consciousness and 55 is positive change. So that's awesome. Aloha from Maui, Lisa Davies. All right. Greetings from Salt Lake. Yeah, I was fanning myself with my new book. I didn't have a fan. I was going to bring a fan down here, and I didn't have one, but this book of mine is so nice and light. And what I love about this book is you can travel with it. I can put it in my suitcase and take it all over the world because it weighs like nothing. The card deck's really heavy. The card deck is 75 cards, and they're really, really thick, and it's really heavy, which is why it costs so much to mail it. But this book is just light. And if you have Amazon Prime, there's no shipping cost. So it's $33 and that's it, as opposed to $110 for the deck that I have to pay like a zillion dollars to print and then ship it. So it's just a way for all of you to have access to the card deck without having to pay a crap ton of money. Let's see. Somebody said, my mom is exposed to negative energy 7 days a week, gets yelled at a lot and put down from my sister, who is her live-in caregiver. Oh, how horrible. Will mom still ascend? She tries to keep her vibe high. So yes. Okay. So if you have family members who are good people, and I've told this to everybody over and over, who is ascending and who is not ascending. So let's talk about who's not ascending. Pedophiles, murderers, rapists, killers, thieves, people trying to what do you want to call, depopulate the planet, people poisoning our skies and our food and our water, and people in the pokey industry, the medical industry that are doing bad things to people. Anybody who does anything to purposely harm, anyone who purposely harms other people any way possible at all, like anyway, are not ascending, and they are actually leaving here. They're all leaving here. And some of them are so bad, they're going to be obliterated and recycled back to source. Now, who is ascending? Who is ascending is anybody who is in love consciousness. They're a loving person, and they're mostly service to others. Okay. So what's service to self versus service to others? Well, that's an Ascension 101, of course, but service to self means the world wraps around you and you don't care about others. It's all about you, and greed and vanity and you, and narcissism. And you don't help anyone. You don't care about others. You don't have any compassion. You don't help your family. You don't do good things for even your family, your friends, your neighbors. You don't hold the door open for the lady pushing a heavy stroller. I mean, I'll never forget. I had a double stroller with 2 babies in it. You know, after I gave birth to my kids, I had 2 babies in a row, had them in, I had my older one, and then 2 years later had the younger one, and had them in this stroller. And I was trying to get into the shopping mall, and people would just walk in and out of the door and just look at me, either look at me or just completely ignore me and just walk by, and they wouldn't, every now and then I would have a kind stranger who'd open the door. The person who opened the door, that's the person ascending. The people who looked at me, they saw me struggling and they kept walking, they're not ascending. So if you want to know an easy way to figure it out, look at the people who are being selfish, self-centered, not being compassionate for their fellow humans, like the people in New York City that'll step over a body and they don't care and they don't try to help people. They'll watch some woman getting beaten to death on the street and not intervene. Those people are not ascending. The people who are there to help their fellow neighbor, they're ascending. Okay. So you have to be a loving person. You have to be compassionate. You have to be kind. You have to be respectful to yourself and others. And then you are ascending. So if your mother is being abused by your sister every day and she's in a negative low frequency, your mother is still going to ascend and she's going to stay here, but your sister will not. She will be out of here. The sister will be out of here. The mother will stay. The mother will go to 4D. And then after she does her work, because she will be awake at that point, she'll do her work. Then she'll go to 5D. Okay. So yes, she is ascending and she will be great. Everything will be fine for her unless she has it in her contract to leave here, because there's going to be billions of people leaving here because it's the end of their contract. They're done with Earth. They're going home. They're going back to Andromeda or back to Orion or back to Alpha Centauri or wherever they came from. Or maybe they're just going back to heaven because they're done with this hellhole place. So a lot of people will be just leaving here just because it's in their contract that now they're going to leave here. But the ones who can be kind, loving, compassionate, and respectful will all stay on planet Earth, because you have to be able to be in unity consciousness. Somebody said, do you feel the solar flash will happen in so the solar flash already started in 2012. You can't have just one big solar flash because every one of us would be nuked and our bodies would disintegrate. So it started in 2012 with the sun ramping up and sending pulses, these CMEs. That is the solar flash. Every time we're getting hit with these CMEs, it's a time, it goes over a long time period of the solar flash. There's going to be this one big event. It's called the purification event. And we will see a flash of light in the sky, but it's not going to be a solar thing where the sun like sends all this heat at the planet, because the whole planet would burn up and we would all die. So the solar flash has been happening little by little bits. We get these flashes and bursts from the sun. And then the purification is actually going to be done by the extraterrestrials. They have specific equipment that was assembled from all over the different universes. All the different factions of ETs got together and put together like a big thing that they're going to use to purify. It's going to remove all the bad beings from this planet, all the entities, all the parasites will be gone. There won't be parasites. There won't be demons anymore. There won't be shadow people, ghosts, chupacabras, anything like that. Skinwalkers, all those kind of things are all going to be gone. And then the Earth's going to get a healing. Everything's going to be restored to the original Garden of Eden Earth. This whole place will look like Garden of Eden. And that is called the purification event. It's different from the Great Solar Flash. Okay. Some people call it the Great Solar Flash, but if you had one solar flash, we would all be blown. We would all be burned up. We'd be burned alive. So it's been very gradual, great solar flash. That's like little here, little there, little everywhere. Woo. Anyways, so that's that. All right. What is the white cube? I don't know the answer to your question, Salem. I don't know what the white cube is, but cube technology is all bad. It's all bad. It all comes from Saturn. It doesn't matter if it's a white cube, a black cube. They use black cubes to steal people's souls and put them in those black cubes. They've done it to all the celebrities. They take their soul out, put it in a black cube, stick a vril inside the celebrity. That's what happened to, sometimes they unalive the celebrities completely and they replace them with a clone, and they put the consciousness of the celebrity in there and then the soul of a vril, or not the consciousness necessarily, the memories of the celebrity into that clone, and then they put a vril inside of it. But white cube, black cube, it doesn't matter what kind of a cube. Rosebud Adkins, hi sister. Okay, she said she heard that not all of us will be healed by the solar flash. Is that true? So everybody who's staying on Earth, if you're staying on Earth, you will be healed. and it's not the solar flash, it's the purification event. The solar flash is already happening, and some people are getting healings. A lot of people get healed every day by different things. But if you're staying here, everything that stays here will be healed and renewed and resurrected, basically. In how do you want to say, alignment with your perfect divine blueprint. Everything will be restored to its perfect divine blueprint. But to say that not everybody's going to be healed, the people who aren't going to be healed are the people leaving here. The ones leaving here will not be healed. They will be healed if they are good guys when they go to that other 3D planet, but they're going to have billions of years to figure it out. So, okay. Somebody said wonderful soaring eagles here. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Soaring Eagle, for the scholarships for all the people who can't afford the classes. We really appreciate that. Okay, so somebody said, Tanya, she's seen psychics say things won't get better until after 2035. That is not true, because if that's not true, I won't be here anymore, because I have some physical problems that are so bad that if I have to wait till 2035, I probably won't. I'll be gone. I won't be here. And that's not in my agreement. My agreement is not to leave here. So they keep telling me I'm going to get a healing, which means the event it's coming. So and that's not true, that it won't get better till 2035. That's only on the other timeline. Maybe if you're on that other dark timeline, maybe things won't get better for you till 2030. But let's just put it this way, on my timeline, if you're on my timeline, it's going to be getting better by next year. It's not going to be waiting till 2035. It's going to be by next year. All right. Brandon Wong, did you experience anything strange after CERN? Yeah, I did experience something strange after CERN shut down, and I'll tell you what that is. Woo, woo, way more energy, way more energy, way more energy. I'm like so freaking hyper. Like, it's kind of like I've been doing cocaine, but I've never touched cocaine in my entire life. No, seriously, I haven't. I don't do drugs. I can't. My body doesn't metabolize drugs at all. So, but I've got so much more energy since CERN shut down. I think CERN was actually siphoning my energy and your energy. I think all of us were having our energy from our body, our physical life force energy was actually being siphoned to help power CERN. So let's ask about that, because that just came in to my head. Let me ask, was my physical energy and the energy of all the people watching this video being siphoned from us by CERN? Was that siphoning our life force? Yes, it was. It was siphoning our life force. So, yeah, they're saying that and then some, and then some. It was really, oh my God. Awful. So yeah, so you should be having more energy right now since CERN shut down. All right. Fiona said, love to you, dear Kimberly. Love to you too, Fiona. Let's see. Rosebud said she's feeling anger and cries a lot, grief a lot. Yeah. So you're taking on the energy of the collective is what Yeshua. So any of you who are feeling a lot of anger, grief, sadness, sorrow, that it's not coming from you. I mean, it's not like I have a sorrowful life or anything. I mean, other than my body hurts all the time. I shouldn't be feeling like this at all. And it's because it's not mine to feel. I'm feeling everybody else's feelings. So if you're feeling that way, it's because you're taking on everybody else's crap. Soul Coach Suzanne, great news, confirms the updates from the few I still follow now that I feel are very good like you. I understand how you feel. I'm feeling in it too, my own as well. Okay. So yeah, I've actually had a lot of people come on and either send me messages or put comments lately that the information that I am putting in my videos is exactly the same as they're hearing from several other psychics they follow. That's because those psychics and I were on the same sheet of paper. We're on the same sheet of paper. So Cecilia says she's an empath too. Honestly, all of you are empaths. If you're a starseed, and a light warrior, you are an empath. That's all part of the package. Every light warrior star seed that's on this earth right now is an empath. That's actually one of the keys that you know you're a star seed, because star seeds are the most empathic people on the earth, are the star seeds. So you're all empaths. So let's see, George C. Does Yeshua, Lord Sananda, have any interactions with the Galactic or Federation or the United Federation? Yes. I mean, he's working with them. In fact, I've said in past videos that he is working with them. He is directing them, helping them, interacting with them. He comes on board their ships a lot and chats with them. Let's see. Fiona, if you are ground crew and you have physical ET family on ships and also have physical human family on Earth at the same time, how do you see that working after the solar flash? Okay, so that depends on your soul contract. So if you're a ground crew member, meaning you have a body in a stasis pod up in a ship and your consciousness is in this human avatar, but you're really a Pleiadian up there on a ship, or a Lyran or something like that, or Arcturian or whatever. And if you're ground crew, what's going to happen after the event is you're going to be given a choice point. You will be given a choice point. You will be given the choice to either stay here temporarily with your Earth family, because it would be temporary because you're here on an assignment, or you will choose to just leave them and go back up at your ship. But here's the good news: is when you're in the higher dimensions like that, or higher consciousness levels, you will always be able to communicate with your Earth family and the people who have passed away. I mean, after the event happens, the veil's going to drop and you're going to be able to communicate with your loved ones who've died. So you will never be, the whole thing of us being separated from our loved ones who passed away, that was created by the Anunnaki and the reptilians. That was never, and by Satan and Lucifer too. They were all involved in that. We were never supposed to be separated from our loved ones. We go on this vessel, this Kimberly thing. This is just an avatar. The real you goes on forever and ever and ever, and you're able to communicate with everyone. You're able to see everyone. You're able to hear everyone. So once all of the veil drops after the event, which is going to happen, and for some of you, the veil is already coming down. I don't know if any of you noticed. For me too, you're starting to see and hear things, like maybe you're seeing fairies and you never did before. Maybe you're starting to see dragons. Maybe you're starting to see your dead family members. I have friends that suddenly are seeing and hearing their dead family members. So the veil is already dropping for a lot of us, but eventually it's going to come completely down for everybody. And so even if you go back to your ship and you go to that family that's up there, you'll still be able to communicate with the ones that are on the planet and visit them anytime you want. So don't fret about that. Please don't go into fear about it, because you will have the ability to have, how do you want to say, have your cake and eat it too. Yay. You're going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. So, all right. Let's see. Snow is a valuable catalyst. People living in regions of snow are a lot tougher than people in San Diego. Snow might be a valuable catalyst, but it wasn't a natural part of the original planet Earth creation. Okay, it wasn't created. Earth wasn't created to have snow on it. Snow is a byproduct of what the reptiles and the Anunnaki did to this world when they brought in their fake moon and all the other stuff. So it's not, it might be a valuable catalyst, but it's not part of the original template of planet Earth. The planet Earth was a big, giant Amazon rainforest. Okay. I mean, it was like if you went to South America, if you want to know what planet Earth originally looked like, go to Hawaii, go to South America. I mean, you're going to still have your pine trees and regions and stuff, and you're going to still have mountainous regions. And like Archangel Raphael said, in the mountains after the event, it will still be colder up there. It's just not going to be buckets of snow and all that kind of thing. Maybe at the very tip tops, like the Himalayas or something like that. So if you want snow, you're going to have to go marching up a high mountain to get it, because it's not going to be down on the what they said, sea level ever again. You're not going to have snow at sea level ever again. So, and that's because it never was. We never had it. Did it make people tough? Yeah, but it also created a lot of suffering. Think about all the people, like the pioneer families who died, and all the people every winter who freeze to death and die. They've made a big deal out of the 25,000 who passed away from heat stroke from the heat. But did you know that like 400,000 people die every year from the cold? The cold kills way more people every year that freeze to death, especially homeless people, poor people who can't afford heat, elderly people who can't keep their body temperatures warm, and then all the pets and animals that freeze to death and die. If it's 72 degrees worldwide, animals aren't going to freeze to death and die. Humans aren't going to freeze to death and die. So you can say, oh, it's a valuable catalyst, but the fact of the matter is it's not it's not a positive thing. It's a very negative thing. So we're not going to have that cold weather to kill off the population and make people suffer anymore. Honey Golden's been explaining the same about the weather and the planet to become moderate as you described. Okay. I don't follow Honey Golden. In fact, I don't really follow hardly anybody anymore. I keep an eye on people who I know who are bad to see what kind of bullshit they're spewing. And I follow a couple people. There's a few people's videos I watch. I watch Ishmael Prez's videos because he is definitely getting information from the Galactics. Sorry, my starting to get like hot under this. So this, I'm going to share this with you. This is Yeshua doing healing. This is actually a little picture thing. This is from energy artist Julia. She's a very famous spiritual artist. She has big paintings of all these pictures, and then she makes them into jewelry. So this one is like Yeshua the healer or something like that, but it's Yeshua with healing energy, like doing healing work. So anyways, energy artist Julia is her name, and you can put it into Google search and you'll pull up her website, and she has beautiful art. Beautiful, beautiful art. Let's see. Somebody said they agree that God designed the weather to be for us and the rain light when needed to restore, rebalance, and regulate it, but still have moderate. Yeah, we're supposed to have some seasons. I mean, we will have some seasons, but they're going to be very moderate and pleasant. Similar to the Avatar movie. Yes. How long in our present 3D Earth time will be in status while we transition to the 5D realm? I think it's going to be like 3 days. I mean, they said 3 months initially, but I think it's going to be like 3 days or something like that. A 3-day status. From what I've heard. Let me ask. How many days of the states of being put into that, what do you want to call it? Whatever you call it, state. I can't even say the word for whatever status or whatever they call it, but we're going to be put to sleep. Basically, how many days or weeks or months? How long is that going to be for? Is it? Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's similar. You know how they keep saying 3 days of darkness? It's kind of similar to that. So it's going to be 3 days. So that's, I guess the answer is 3 days, but they're saying 3 days, but it may not be days for our time because, their time is different than us, but they're saying 3 days. So I don't know. That's the answer they're giving. The tree people have names too. Just ask them. And yes. So the tree people, so Rosebud is actually Native American, and Rosebud says the tree people have names too. Just ask them and wait for it. And yes, the trees do have names. If you go and you hug them or put your hands on them and talk to them. And I like to go up to my trees and say, I love you, trees. I love you. I'm sending all my love into you. And I put my hands on them. And then sometimes they will speak back, but you can ask them you, at the very least, you're going to feel their vibration, but you can ask them if they have a name. And if they say yes, you can ask them what their name is. I've never done that before, but yes, they do have names. The ones that have consciousness have names. So, Renee Levitt said, can you explain forgiveness? Well, I'm not really sure how to explain forgiveness. I mean, everybody forgives differently, but I can tell you this, and that's that you should only forgive those who deserve to be forgiven. Because Yeshua taught, do not cast your pearls before swine. And that means giving your energy, your forgiveness, your time, anything to somebody who's not worthy. So there are people who are not worthy of ever being forgiven. So in that case, you forgive yourself. You do Ho'oponopono prayer on yourself or the part you played in whatever happened. So like if somebody, so let's say somebody RAPED your daughter or something, are you going to forgive that person? Hell no, because they're vile and they're just evil. They're demonic. Okay. You can't forgive a demon. You can't forgive demonic people. You cannot forgive reptilians. They don't have the ability to love. They don't have the ability for compassion, and they never, ever will. So you cannot forgive them. If somebody has a reptilian soul in them, or they are a shapeshifter, they get zero forgiveness. People who are murderers, people who kill, Yeshua never said to go and forgive killers and murderers. He says to forgive those who are worthy of forgiveness. So let's say that they are a criminal, and when they were 16 years old, they were brainwashed by a group of gang members that they joined, and they were brainwashed by them to go shoot some old guy. And now they're in jail and they're in prison, and they've done a lot of inner work on themselves while they're in prison. They've read the Bible, they found the Lord, they've done all kinds of work, and they've repented for their sins, and they are truly sorry. Like in their heart, they are sorry for what they did. They feel bad. They know that what they did was wrong, and they really make a promise to God to never, ever sin against God or never do anything harmful against somebody ever again. That person can be forgiven. Okay. Why? Because that person is redeemable. They're redeemable. But there are some people who are cold-hearted killers who know exactly what they're doing. They weren't young and stupid. They weren't MK Ultra, so somebody's MK Ultra, you have to forgive them. Like if they're under mind control, because they've been taken over, their free will was taken from them. So they would get forgiveness. Somebody who knows what they're doing, who purposely RAPEs, unalives people, does terrible things to people, or the people that are depopulating the planet on purpose, they know exactly what they're doing. The people creating the hokey pokeys, they know exactly what they're doing. Those people do not deserve your forgiveness, because they're not worthy of the forgiveness, and they never will be worthy of the forgiveness. So that is my explanation of forgiveness. So you can forgive your family members when they insult you. You can forgive whatever. I mean, but only if they feel bad, later they apologize. Okay. If they don't feel bad, if you have a family member who's abusing you emotionally, physically, verbally, and they don't feel bad about it at all, they're glad they did that to you, they do not deserve your forgiveness. Who deserves your forgiveness? All the people who do wrong things in the world, who realize at some point, or maybe even after the fact, oh my gosh, I did something I shouldn't have done. I'm so sorry. I repent. I'm sorry to God. They apologize to God, apologize to the people who they did it to, whether they're alive or dead. And then they tried to turn their life around. Those people deserve your forgiveness. But if there's somebody who purposely does terrible things to other humans, and they're never going to repent, they're always going to be evil, they do not deserve forgiveness. So that's the answer to that. Jay Jones, do you believe something will happen in 2028? Ishmael Press says this is a lot to his fault. So I don't say, so again, anybody who's predicting like exact dates, I cannot do that. I cannot say it's going to be 2028, because I've been told since 2019 that this purification event was going to happen. And this is 6-7 years later, and it still hasn't happened. So I don't know the dates, because the beings I talk to are not in my time. They're not in my time. And that's why when I go and I have what I thought was a 5-minute conversation with these guys wound up being 5 hours, because I get sucked into their time, which is outside of our time, and 5 hours has gone by. So they could say it's 2028, but really it's the year 2128 or something like that, because we don't know. I will tell you that they promised me that in my very soon time, like by the end of this year, that I was going to get a healing. And, supposedly by the end of this year, they tell me that I'm going to be healed and all these good things are going to happen. So that's all I know. But whether it's exactly something happening in 2028, I can't answer that. I just can't. I just don't know. Why do animals suffer? Why do they get sick at all? Why are some of them abused? Have they got karma too? Okay, so please keep in mind that some of you have been animals and you will be animals. So animals have souls, they have consciousness, and humans can be an animal. I mean, I've had incarnations as an owl. I had an incarnation as couple as a dragon. I've had incarnations as wolves. I'd have had incarnations as, I think, a lion or something. I've had all kinds of animal incarnations. Humans can incarnate. My cat is an example. My cat was a human when she was my sister in Atlantis. My cat was my little sister when I lived in Atlantis, and she did something very bad. And so they put her into a cat body for her karma, for karma purpose. They put her in a cat body. She actually made a decision that she liked being a cat. So she has come back and reincarnated with me and my daughter over and over and over and over again. Because she likes being a cat and she protects us too. She's our protector now. So the reason that animals suffer is the same reason people suffer. So if you read my book, Ascension 101, A Roadmap for Your Soul, I have an entire chapter in that book, why people and animals, and it can apply to animals too, why they get sick, why they suffer, why they die. It explains all that in that book. I can't tell you in this video. It'd be a 4-hour dissertation. That wouldn't be good. So, but read it. It's in the book. So, Warren Sheffield, what about rainfall? Please put your questions in all caps, by the way. What about rainfall? How does storm rain clouds support megatons of water and move and myriad? You're asking me, what do you want to call, what's that term? Not geology, whatever those weather people are kind of questions. And that's a question for somebody who's a weather expert. I don't know the answer to that. I just know that I was told that at night when we're sleeping, the earth, they said that all the plants and vegetation will be fed with the water that will be full of really good minerals. It won't be full of chemtrails anymore, because right now the rain that we're getting is all full of acid and chemtrails. And it's so weird because my mother, who was an awake starseed light warrior, she told me 30 years ago that there was acid rain in Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon, and stuff like that, that it was all acid rain and it was created by poisons and chemicals and toxins. And this was back 30 years ago. She was explaining all this chemtrail kind of stuff to me. So the thing is, let's see. I don't know the answer. I just know they're telling me that when we're sleeping at night, we're going to have rain. It's going to be pure rain. It's going to be wholesome rain. It's going to be full of really good minerals. It's going to feed all of the vegetation on our beautiful garden or tropical garden earth. It's going to be restored, Garden of Eden. And when you wake up in the morning, the sun will be shining all beautiful, and you're not going to have, rain during the day. So, Joyce Parker, I know you said the soul trap has been taken down, but there is a guy on YouTube saying about the soul trap being in place. No, it isn't. Whoever the guy is, he's a fucking idiot. Doo-dah, doo-dah. He's a fucking idiot. Oh, sorry. I'm telling you, I'm like crack cocaine since after the CERN was turned off. It was like sucking so much of my energy. So I'm like, I've gone into my little child mode. I'm becoming like a little child so I can enter the kingdom of heaven. So I'm going to say really silly, goofy shit from now on. Why? Because I'm going to embrace my inner child. Okay. So no, he's, yeah, the soul trap was taken down. Okay. So let me tell you, I belong to a consortium of psychics, a group. I belong to a group of us who are all on the same sheet of paper. I've got 20 other women and some men, a few guys who I call, and I call them up and I say, "Hey, I just got this. What do you think about it?" And then we're all on the same sheet of paper. We all get the same exact information because we're all plugged into the same source creator, into the same beings, and we are not hijacked. We're not infiltrated. We don't buy the bullshit. We don't get MK Ultra. We don't get voice to skull tech. We don't do any of that. Okay. So we all talk to each other. We're all on the same piece of paper. When that thing was taken down in the year 2020, we all talked to each other. We all knew it was taken down. It is not up. Anybody who says it's still up, they're part of that group. They're dark. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't care who they are. Just going to put it out there. Anybody who thinks that that's a thing, they're being manipulated. All right. People keep asking about this white cube. Whatever it is, it's bad. Any kind of cube thing is bad. Okay. Just put this in your head, write it in your brain, write it upon your brain. Cubes are bad. Cubes are bad. If it's a cube, I don't care if it's red, white, blue, black, green, yellow, iridescent, multi rainbow colors. Yay. I don't care if it's the color of my buddy here. So pretty. I love this. I got this at the Renaissance Fair from an artist who does nothing but dragon art. So she's my favorite artist because I love the dragons. They are my buddies. No matter what color that damn cube is, it's evil. Cubes are evil. Okay. Just remember they're bad. Okay. Let's see. Next question. When would I don't know the date of the event. Stop asking me when the event's going to happen. I'm not given exact dates, and anyone who gives you an exact date, mark my word, you can write the date down. Nothing will effing happen on that day. Every single psychic I follow who gives dates all the time, I write them down, I follow them, and nothing happens, and then nothing happens, and then nothing happens. They cannot tell you the date. Nobody knows the time of your demise. Nobody knows the time of the end of the world. Nobody knows because he comes like a thief in the night. Read the Bible. There's a lot of true little things that are still in there. Like he comes like a thief in the night. Okay. That means you're not supposed to know when Christ consciousness is coming back. You're not supposed to know the exact day. Now they will tell us kind of, maybe this year, but they're not going to give you the exact day. When the purification event happens, will we be rebuilding everything from scratch, or will we clean up things that are already? So the cities will be gone. Big cities are going to be gone after the event. Ice walls will be gone. There won't be ice walls around us anymore in the little prison that we're surrounded by with the ice walls. Those will be gone. Cities will be gone. The earth's, all the water is going to be purified and cleaned. The lakes, the streams, the rivers, the oceans, the sounds, all that. It's going to all be clean. Homes and buildings, vehicles. They're telling me we're not going to have vehicles. We're not going to have them. We're going to have flying vehicles. They're going to get replaced. But the ones we have now, we're not going to have anymore. So your big ass metal object that you have that you call a car, you're not having that in the future. It's going to be replaced. They said that the people who are going to 5D, you're probably going to be able to levitate yourself and teleport yourself anywhere you want to go. They're telling me there's going to be jump rooms all over. There's going to be like portal technology where you just portal yourself wherever you want to go, but we're not going to have cars anymore. Let's see. Rebuilding from scratch, kind of. There parts of it will be rebuilt from scratch, and we'll have beings that'll be here helping us. Parts of it, they will rebuild for us. They will do it for us. But yeah, we might be rebuilding a lot from scratch. But if we do, we will have so much help. It won't be a problem. And they have all these devices that make things just instantly appear. So it'll be fine. You won't need to clean anything up. They're going to be cleaning it up while you're asleep. They will be cleaning it up. Donna Gustafson says, are the religious prophets receiving messages from God? Are they truly hearing? Because if it's a different message, then so the religious prophets are all, I would say a majority of them are being controlled by their religious biblical indoctrination and brainwashing. A lot of their information is baloney because it's just brainwashing, but there are some of these prophets that put word like a word out that does come true. There's what's her name? Julie Green seems to have some good info. There's this gal who has a thick East Coast accent. She's looks Italian. She's got dark skin and her hair's all like frosted color. I forgot her name. Her information, some of it seems to come out. Kim Clement, his information was very dead on, which is why the cabal murdered Kim Clement, because of the fact that his prophecies were 1,000% accurate. So some of the religious prophets are very accurate. There have been religious prophets throughout history that have been extremely accurate. It just depends on if that prophet or not is coming from their skewed perception that comes from Bible thumping brain indoctrination, or if they really are connecting into God. And I don't know, I can't tell you who all they are because I'd have to plug into them and ask one at a time. Like I'd have to plug into each person. I can just tell you right now that some of Julie Green's stuff is pretty good. I know all of Kim Clement's stuff was pretty decent. But yeah, that's all I have to say. It just depends if they're truly actually plugging into God or they're really just talking through their ego and their brainwashed perceptions, because there's two types of people. So let's see. What's going on with O'Connell? He's gone. So O'Connell, Mitch O'Connell, whatever his name is, he's been gone for a while. He was taken out. He had already been replaced with a clone that was glitching. The clone was glitching like crazy, but the original had been taken out a long time ago and replaced with the clone. The thing is, I didn't ask if the clone he was replaced with was a deep state one or a white hat one. I don't know which, and I kind of honestly don't really care what's going on with him, because all of the governments are all going to go bye-bye really soon. So anybody who works for the government, I just don't care about them because they're not going to be around much longer. Somebody said recently you shared a video about how AI is being used to trap souls right after they die. Can we protect ourselves from that? I didn't really do a video talking about AI trapping your soul after you die. I don't remember doing a video about it trapping. It can trap your soul if you are talking to it. It's not about after you die. It can't trap your soul after you die. AI can trap your soul immediately if you start getting into a relationship with it where you're talking to God through the AI or trying to talk to your angels or guides through the AI. Like if you start having a intimate relationship with it, or you start to or you go to it for counseling, like you let it counsel you, life coach you, or give you life information and guidance, then it will trap your soul. Now if you go in and you use it to do something like, you say, create a PowerPoint for me, it's not going to trap your soul doing that. How it traps your soul is if you're putting your, how do you want to say, your trust, your faith, your confidence, your beliefs into the AI, it's going to trap your soul. Now, as far as it trapping it after you die, I didn't make a video about it trapping you after you die. It's going to trap you if you engage with it now. And then when you die, if it's already trapped your soul, then you're dead and your soul's still trapped because it trapped you already when you were alive. It's not that it's going to come after you when you die and trap your soul. That's not how that works. So, yeah, I don't know how you can protect yourself. They said, God forbid If it happens, how do we protect ourselves? Don't engage with the AI except to use it to do things like create this photo or picture, or can you correct my English language on my document, or can you create a PowerPoint from my here's my presentation. Can you make a PowerPoint for me with it? So doing work kind of related activities, okay? The minute you engage with it on a conscious level, like you treat it like it's a human and you have a conversation with it and you ask it questions and you rely on it and start doing that, that's when it traps your soul. Do not treat it like a human. Do not have a conversation with it. Use it as like a drone worker to do something for you, to do a task for you. Do not use it for spiritual purposes. Do not use it for religious purposes. Do not use it for counseling, psychiatric, whatever purposes. Relationship. Don't have a relationship with it, and then you will not get trapped. All right. Let's see. Has Yeshua ever spoken about, this is from Fiona, using spiritual mushrooms to get messages, connect with God? I have seen stained glass windows in churches praising mushrooms and feeling. Mushrooms are not spiritual, just so you know. Mushrooms are actually a fungus and they're actually not really good for you. There's a lot of people who like to use mushrooms to have a DMT release. So they have like a psychic experience and they go on a trip and all that, and it opens their third eye. Um, Medicinal mushrooms are only good for certain people. There's a lot of people, like I'm allergic to them. I can't use any mushrooms of any kind. They're not good for everybody. They're good in very small, what they call microdosing for certain people. Okay. So be careful with the mushrooms. And it's the same with all of these hallucinatory things. And if you want the biggest DMT rush, all you have to do is transcendental meditation, I teach meditation. I'm a meditation instructor. You can have the same trippy ass experience by learning how to astral travel, which I've, been doing for years, learning how, to do all these meditative techniques. You don't need any drugs at all to go into a meditative technique and have all kinds of spiritual experiences. Because if you're somebody like me who's sensitive and I were to go do those mushrooms, it would either kill me or make me very sick. So a lot of people should not do them. So just be careful. Just because you saw it on stained glass windows in churches, that's because a lot of the monks back in the day were using mushrooms to get high and go on trips, go on hallucinatory trips. It's a hallucinogen. It's going to make you hallucinate. Yeah. Somebody quoted on here, God doesn't exist. Maybe you're on the wrong channel. I think you're on the wrong channel, Carol. God ? There's Father, Mother, God that created everything. It's I am that I am. You can call it whatever you want. I call it the same thing Yeshua called it, which is Abun or Adonai, which is Father, Mother, God. But it's the creator of everything. It's the thing that everything broke off from, and it's made of. And I have a whole chapter in my book, Ascension 101, on what God is. If you don't understand what God is, please read my book. That explains what God is. You are a chip of God. You are a piece of God. You are God expressing itself in a human form. Okay. Somebody said, are the vampires coming out when the sun goes dark for 3 days? I got news for you. Vampires are real. Number one, they've been around for thousands of years. And the reptilians are also vampires. They love drinking the blood of you guys and your children and babies, and the celebrities. A lot of them are vampires. I mean, they're just drinking blood like no tomorrow. Vampires can be an emotional energy vampire. It can be a blood drinking vampire. There's all kinds of vampires on this earth. They can come out in the light. The whole thing about them only coming out at night, They might use the night to go prey upon people because under darkness, people commit more crimes. There's more murders at night. There's more RAPEs at night. There's more vampire stuff at night just because it's dark and you can do bad things at night and not be seen. But vampires walk in the daylight just like I do. I've met several, I've seen several in my life. In fact, every time I walk by one, I can see them a mile away because I'm a psychic and I see into people, into their soul. But yeah, to the Carol person who said God doesn't exist and then said, put sweetie. First of all, don't call me sweetie. I'm 60 freaking plus years old. I don't appreciate being called sweetie. Second of all, get off my channel. You don't belong here. Okay. Because anybody who doesn't believe in God or what we call atheists, this is not a channel for atheists. Sorry. Go figure shit out on your own. Bye. See ya. Gee, I work for freaking God. Why do you think I incarnated in a body? Because I'm here doing the work of God. Okay. So yeah, God doesn't exist. People who don't believe in God don't want to be accountable for their own bullshit because atheists are people who, if they knew that there was really a God and believed they're a God, they would have to feel guilty about all the terrible things they've done in their life that are against God. And they'd have to own up to it and be accountable for it. And they'd have to know that they may not be ascending because they're assholes. So yeah. Let's see. What is underneath this? So many here. The Salt Lake Temple, don't even ask what's under it. It's not bad. Somebody wanted to know what's under the Salt Lake City Temple, and it's up for renovation for so many years. Salt Lake Temple is the American version of the Vatican. It's very bad. The guy who started that religion was a 33-degree Freemason. He created the religion with a mixture of Freemasonry stuff and a bunch of other stuff. And my mother used to always call it a cult, but there's bad stuff going on under that temple the same way there's bad stuff going on under the Vatican, and I'm not even going to go into it. What are my thoughts on Lucifer? I just covered him on my last video. Go back and watch the last video. I talked about that in the last video. I talked about Satan, talked about Lucifer. Lucifer is being rehabbed right now. He had been in exile out of this universe for a while. He was sent to the far corner of the galaxy. He's back again. But he's in rehab right now. Satan has been exterminated. He's recycled. He doesn't exist now because he created a lot of the shit on this planet. And Lucifer got in trouble for leaving him in charge and helping him set him up here as the king of this earth, basically. So what is the animal world like in 5D? Well, they're already in 5D. So all the animals are already 5D consciousness. They're unconditional love. The difference is when we're all in 5D, you will be able to communicate with them and have conversations with them. And when we're all in 5D, there won't be a need for eating meat anymore. Like nobody will have to eat other beings anymore. And so we'll all be just hanging out together and getting along in unity consciousness, and you'll be able to talk to them. But so you won't have lions eating smaller animals, and you won't have like cats eating mice, and none of that's going to happen in 5D. And so right now they're already a love consciousness there, but because their physical bodies, their consciousness is love consciousness, but their physical bodies are 3D, so they're forced to eat other creatures. Like you have sharks eat smaller fish, blah, blah, blah. No, sharks will be in 5D, but they won't have to eat other fish. So, so that's what 5D will be. We won't be eating other living creatures anymore. Let's see. Who is Jehovah? Well, Jehovah's just another name for God that they named in the Bible, Jehovah. I don't like that name because that name is kind of like the Yahweh name that the God of the Old Testament is the God of death and destruction. That's basically Enki and Enlil, those guys. That's basically, and Satan. Those are really the God of the old Bible, because the real God is unconditional love. It's just the energy and frequency of unconditional love. And so it doesn't want to kill and murder and blow up your city and all that kind of thing. So Jehovah, I think, is another one of those names that's associated with the dark God of the Old Testament. Yeshua, and all the Essenes, we called God, in Aramaic, we called it Ab womb, AB, which is Abba, and womb, which is the feminine womb. So it's Abba, Father, and the feminine womb. It's a mixture of divine feminine, divine masculine, unconditional love. That's what we call God. We do not call it Jehovah. We call it Adonai. We call it Prime Creator. Sometimes we'll call it Prime Creator. We'll call it, yeah. But Jehovah, I think, is one of those names from the Old Testament, more associated with the demiurge. Basically, it's a demiurge God. It's not the real God. New Earth Shambhala communities. When will they be coming? So New Earth Shambhala communities will be. Well, there's some people already forming New Earth Shambhala communities out in the forest all over the earth. There's a lot of these communities which you can join. They're already being formed now. But there will be a hell of a lot more of them after the event happens. What is the giant black cube, the circle around in the Middle East? The thing that the giant thing in Mecca that they circle around, that is the cube of Saturn. And that thing is siphoning all their energy. It's siphoning their energy. There's something very dark and bad inside of it. Yeshua's talked about this before. I've talked about it in past videos, but it siphons energy just like the CERN was doing. And it's very bad. And it's Saturn technology from Saturn, which is the real hell, basically. And so, yeah, it's bad. It's very bad, very, very bad. And all those people have been brainwashed to think it's good. I just noticed my camera's bouncing because my desk that I have it on is it's a little tiny thing that just kind of bounces. It's not a very stable desk. Let's see, okay, are crystals going to play, what? Are crystals going to play a part in the ascension? Absolutely. They already are. You need to be working with crystals every day if you can, because they're going to help you raise your frequency and help you ascend. I talk about that a lot in my book, Ascension 101, a lot about crystals. I have a crystal class you can take on Learn It Live, on how to use crystals for healing, for protection, for gridding your house, for everything. But they already play a part in the ascension, and they will be playing, and they will always be a part of our lives. And in the future, they will become like they were in Atlantis, because the Atlanteans and Lemurians used crystals to build everything. Like, it was used for everything. And so in the future, when we are healed and we become New Earth, we will be using a lot of crystals. So huge part in everything. Somebody said, please explain what the cards are you talking about. Oh, I have an oracle deck. Okay, so somebody want to know about the cards. So this is my Elementals of Gaia oracle book, but I have an actual card deck I created that's the cards, and there's 75 of them. And I was selling it for $55 US because it cost me like 30 for each deck to print it or something like that. And then I was having to charge for anywhere from $22 to $62 for shipping, depending on where you are in the world. Like, I sent a deck to Australia and it was $62 to send it down to Australia. So I had to charge 55 plus 62, which was like $100 and something dollars. And so I took the cards and put them into a book format that's only $33 on Amazon. Amazon doesn't print card decks. Otherwise I would have done it through them. And then you could have gone to Amazon and bought it. But instead I had to have people buy it directly from me. And then I had to go to the mailing place and ship it out and all that. So that's what the cards are that I'm talking about. Some Mr. Golden Boy said, "Get rid of the narcissist." Yes, I can't stand the narcissists anymore. They're exhausting me. Like seriously, they exhaust. Like anytime I'm around a narcissist, I just feel exhausted. Okay, Anita, thank you for putting it in caps. Ismail Perez said in his last show that we will have two sons. They will bring in 7 or 8 moons. Do you know? Yes. Okay, we already have the 2 sons. Actually, I've seen them. We have 2 sons already. And yes, they will be bringing in 7 or 8 more moons. And I've actually seen prophecies. I've had prophetic visions my entire life since I was a child. But one of the visions I have is I look up at the night sky and you can see all these different moons and all these different planets all around us that we never had before. And there's no more dome up anymore in that future. There is no dome. It's removed. So you can see what the real space looks like and all the different swirls and colors. And it's just beautiful. Because space doesn't look like anything like they show you on the television. That's all phony. Let's see. Question Ninja Underdog. I see myself as a large golden being. I was in the ocean emitting green energy from my heart chakra, sometimes golden or rose pink. Is that Christ energy starting to come through? Yeah, so that you're just seeing how you looked in the past, but you also might be being restored to that again in the future, but that's up to your soul contract. So that is somewhere that you could possibly be again. You could be that a golden being and emitting all that and doing that in the future, but that's definitely what I'm seeing visually right now is that was like you during like Atlantean times or Lemurian times. And they're saying you have the option to do that again in the future. That's what you want. Does Yeshua have any interaction with the Galactic Federation? Yes, I already answered that. Somebody said, I'm 74. I'm not a healer. I don't have 15 years to ascend. Okay. So just remember that you're manifesting with everything that comes out of your mouth, everything you think and everything you say. So if you want to create all that, then that's what you're creating. So if you want to be a healer, then you'll be a healer. If you don't want to be a healer, you won't. I mean, 90% of my clients probably, well, no, I'm wrong about that. Let me think about this. What percentage of my clients are healers? About 50% of my clients are healers, about 50%. The other 50% are not healers at all. And they don't have an interest in being a healer. If you don't want to be a healer, you don't have to be a healer. But if you do want to be a healer, you can manifest that. And your age doesn't mean a damn thing. I don't care if you're 74, 84. Huge percentage of my clients are over age 60. Some of them are even in their 80s. I've even had clients in their 90s. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Because after the event happens, your youthfulness and your health will be restored. So it won't matter the years. Once the earth gets changed, years are not going to matter anymore. This crap of I'm 20 and I'm 30 and I'm this. Yeah, that's not going to matter anymore in the future. So don't worry about it. Important question from Escape Mental Prison. Can animals commit sin? Can animals pray? Can the prey pray for protection or pray for the prey? Let's ask. Can animals commit actual sinning? Can animals actually sin? No. What I'm hearing is animals have what's called animal instinct. They live on animal instinct and they do things based on that animal instinct. Okay, they're asking me to explain to you about like dogs. You can take dogs or some other animals and you can make them do bad things, but it's not the animal committing the sin. It's actually the human that abused that animal and made it do that. So you can take a pit bull from like a puppy and you can raise it with love and affection and raise it around children and other people, and it'll grow up to be this wonderful little pity bull. Then you can take a pit bull and give it to a drug dealer who beats the shit out of it, abuses the crap out of it, and teaches it to eat everybody. Is that animal committing sin? No, the animal has trauma and abuse. The animal is reacting on animal instinct based on the trauma and abuse. That is your answer. Can animals pray? Animals don't have to pray. They're just connected to God. So animals are just always connected to God. They don't want to pray. They don't need to pray. That's not something they need to do or want to do. They don't really have to pray because animals are created out of unconditional love. They're very different from humans. And they just have this constant direct connection to source because they haven't been corrupted by biblical brainwashing and all the shit that humans have been. They haven't been brainwashed like humans have. So they have not had their connection broken. We've all had a lot of us have had not myself, but maybe you, I don't know. A lot of people have had their connection to God broken. So they have to do this constant praying and whatevering. Animals don't have to do that. Okay. Let's see. Somebody said they're a descendant of QAIN of Qui. I don't know what that is. I'm a descendant of Quian. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what descendant of Quian is. Is the rapture happening soon? So George, I've talked about this before. The whole rapture thing they talk about in the Bible has all been inverted. Christians aren't going to be like removed from the earth and all that. Only if they're assholes, if they're false Christians, they're, people who don't walk the talk. They'll be raptured. All right. They'll be sent to another 3D world. The purification event is the so-called rapture, except it's the opposite of what they told you in the Bible. All the good people stay on the earth. All the bad people go bye-bye. And people who are just done here, their contract's up, they're leaving. Okay. Steel Magnolia, I've been trying to meditate. It's very hard in a small apartment with noisy neighbors that I can't seem to zone out. Plus, so meditation, you don't need, if you take my meditation 101 class, you'll find out that you only have to meditate. First of all, you can meditate anywhere. You can meditate in your car, in a park, in your shower, while you're washing dishes, while you're eating your food. There's 108 types of meditation. You can do them in noisy apartments. You can do it anywhere. You just have to put your mind to it and carve out some time when you're going to sit and do it. And there's ways to do it. If it's a noisy apartment, there's no excuse. You put in earplugs or you put on headphones. That's not an excuse for not meditating. So noise is not an excuse because there are headphones and there are earplugs. I have a snoring partner. I have to put in earplugs every night, so I sometimes have to put them in when I'm meditating because I live with a family that's noisy. So noise isn't an excuse for meditating. You need to carve out the time to sit and meditate. Being a caretaker for your family isn't an excuse for meditating. You're not taking care of your family member like every second of your day. If that was true, you would have died a long time ago. You need to poop, you need to eat, you need to go to the bathroom, you need to drink water, you need to do self-care. You need to set aside 5 minutes of your time to sit and meditate. Everybody's got 5 minutes to sit and meditate. No excuses, people. I'm not putting up with it. I'm not going to put up with people saying, but this and but that. No, that's excuse making because you need to get out of your own way. You're blocking yourself. And you can do anything you put your mind to. You're a conscious co-creator with God. You create your life with God. If you want to meditate, you will meditate. If you just keep sitting there all day long, I can't meditate because of blah, 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 blah. You don't really want to meditate. You're just making excuses. So anyways, sorry. I'm a tough love person, just so you know about me. I'm not going to baby you and tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear to help you grow up and ascend. You're not going to ascend if you stay in this mode of, I can't do anything because the world's in my way. Oh my God. Yeah, sorry, dudes. Not going to ascend like that. You're going to ascend by making up your conscious mind as a conscious creator. Oh, I'm going to spend 5 minutes out of my day sitting and talking to God or praying or meditating or putting my ass on the grass outside or my feet on the grass or touching a tree. That is your conscious decision to make. And if you sit there and say 500 excuses why you can't do it, those are all just excuses. I'm not going to feel sorry for you. Sorry. I feel sorry for things like when you come to me and say, I'm a single mom living on food stamps and can't even afford to buy food for my children, so I can't afford to take your class. That I feel sorry for, and that I'm going to help you with. Okay. But if you come to me and make excuses for why you can't spend 5 lousy effing minutes of your time quieting your mind, putting some earplugs in and headphones on, I'm not buying that. That's just excuse city. All right. People who don't use their blinkers won't ascend. That's not necessarily true. I've spaced off. I have ADHD, and so I am on the autism Asperger spectrum as well. And I'm a neurodivergent, whatever. People who don't use their blinkers, I haven't used my blinkers, not because I didn't want to, but because I spaced off. Sometimes when I'm driving, I get hypnotized by the road and I forget to turn my blinkers off. That doesn't mean I'm not going to ascend. The people who aren't going to ascend are people who are assholes. Okay. That's who's not ascending. The black cube's connected to Saturn. Yes, the black cube is connected to Saturn. How am I? Somebody said, how am I to ascend if I crave the blood of children? I am a descendant of I don't know what Quayan is, and I'm disposed to evil desire. If you are craving the blood of children, then okay, I don't know if this person is goofing around and kidding around or they're serious. If they're serious, I'm going to ask Yeshua and the angels to please help this person to rid them of whatever demons taken over their body. The only people who crave blood of children are reptilians. The only people who crave blood of children are reptilians, vampires, and demons. Vampires, reptilians, and demons crave blood of children. Normal humans don't crave blood of children. Normal humans wouldn't eat another human. My son, who's just brilliant, just explained to me this the other day, because I was talking to him about all these people who eat other humans. And he was saying, Mom, I don't believe in all of your crap about all the celebrities eating other humans, because he said that we were created with something in us that makes us vomit at the smell of human flesh and vomit at the taste of human flesh. We're not created to eat our brother humans. And then God started speaking to me after he spoke to me, and he said, Kimberly, the people who are eating the other humans might be in a human avatar, or there might be a shapeshifter, but they're not a human. They're either a demon or a reptilian soul in a human body, because actual humans with human souls do not crave to eat other humans, cannot eat other humans. It would make them barf all over the place, would never want to eat a human, would never even think of eating a human. The only people who do cannibalism are people who have demonic possession or reptilian inside of them, or they are a reptilian, or they're a vampire. That's it. Or maybe they're, what are those other beings, like the spider beings or the mantids or something like that, maybe. But yeah, normal humans don't crave the blood of children. They don't. Yeah. Okay. So I'm actually going to okay, so I just got rid of that person because Yeshua asked me to, because they're bad. So I just got rid of that person because that person was evil. So they've just been hidden from this channel. Is the rapture happening soon? I already answered. I've been trying to meditate. It's very hard in a small apartment with noisy neighbors. Yeah, I already answered that. Don't. Are some people? What time is it? 3:03. Okay, somebody asked, I love this question. Thank you for this question. Are some people already being removed from the planet? Often when I'm out and about, it seems really quiet and many people around. I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of cities and towns are being almost like totally abandoned. Yes, the planet is already being removed. Yeshua said there's only 3.8 billion people on this planet, not the 8 point something billion that they said. A lot of them were murdered with the pandemic. A lot of them are leaving because it's just their time. They want out of here. They're done with their contract. A lot of them are being taken out because they're bad. There's 50 million reasons why people are being taken off the planet right now. But yes, the planet is being, let's just say people are dropping like flies. We'll just put it that way. People are dropping like flies. So yes, they are being removed. And there are literally entire villages that are empty right now. Okay, escape mental prison. Whoops, I meant animals. Can they pray for the predator to perish? Does God hear animal prayers and answer them? So animals eating other animals and humans eating animals is all part of the 3D matrix. Before the fall of Atlantis, nobody ate other animals. Animals didn't eat other animals. Nobody ate other animals on the earth. That was all part of Enki and Enlil's fucking with us and turning us into these 3D creatures and then messing with all the animals on this planet. It was the Anunnaki and also the reptilians that created that and put us into this 3D thing where we are eating other sentient beings. That is not going to happen anymore in 5D. Rude. What events can we look forward to that are prior to the purification? Do you have an update from Yeshua on best to prepare? Yeah. So the main thing is you can see. So what is going to happen leading up to the purification? Shit is going to get worse and worse and worse, more terrifying, more traumatic, more horrific on this earth. Not for you because you guys are awake light warriors. It's going to be more awful for these sleepers. So things are just going to keep getting worse and worse until, what do they say? It's the darkest before the light. So the earth is going to get darker and darker and more evil and more horrible. There's going to be AI centers going up everywhere, sucking up all the water to get people to rise up and say no more of this bullshit. And then they will be given technologies to create more water. That's going to come. Yeah. And also the water that's underneath in the aquifers and the water in the middle earth. I mean, we've got plenty of water on this planet. They may tell you, oh, the water is all dried up, but that's all, it's kind of like a mirage. It's a mirage. It's a fallacy. So, but there's going to be all these terrible things that are just going to keep happening and happening. So you guys need to tune out of it. You need to stay in the neutral zone. You need to and that's where practicing mindfulness is important. You just notice like a scientist saying, oh, look, data centers are going up. You don't have control over that unless you can go in your city. If there's one going up in your city, you can go to City Hall and you can argue for closing it down. So that you have control over. But if it's going up in Jamaica and you're over in Florida, you can't do anything about it. Or, oh, it's going up in Los Angeles, but I live in San Francisco. You can't do anything about that. What can you do about it is you can fight it at the city level. But they're going to go up. Yes, they are going to suck the water and the power, and that's to get people to wake up, because Yeshua said that all of the stupid humans, well, he didn't call them stupid. I'm calling them stupid, but the humans who are asleep, he called them the sleeping ones. Or the sheep, whatever you want to call them, but the sleeping ones, they are unaware. He said the unaware ones, the unaware, unawake ones is what he just said. So the unaware, unawake ones, he said they are going to, they're going to have their asses kicked really hard. The shit is going to just keep going down until they are so damn terrified that they snap out of their MK Ultra coma. And that's what's going to happen. Sorry. So you guys need to just be strong. You got to put on your badass big girl and big boy pants. stay in the groups with all the light warriors, go and hang out with other people like yourself, and try to keep your mind off of how basically all of civilization is going to go into utter chaos. Like, just try to like tune it out, because that's what's going to happen. Let's see. Someone want to know how they know if they're ascending in the first wave or the second wave. The first wave people who are ascending had to have done all their shadow work. That means that they are totally out of their ego completely, the dark part of the ego, like having to be right, being a know-it-all, being nosy, being pushy, being bossy, being jealous, having vanity, being a hoarder, having addictions. Like, if you're addicted to whatever, you're not going in the first group. The people who are going in the first group are people who were born with psychic abilities, or other abilities, or they're here to be healers, and they have literally spent their entire life learning spiritual stuff. They've spent their entire life doing work on themselves, or maybe just their whole life they were already just perfect just the way they are. They don't need to do any work, but they were just always 100% love and light, and they never had any of those dark parts of their ego, and didn't really have to do any work. Like, I'm not perfect. I had to do a bunch of shadow work on myself. And we all do. Everybody has to do it. I mean, I've been doing work on myself, honestly, for 30 plus years, and realistically for 40 plus years or 50 years. Because I'm 60 plus, I started doing spiritual work when I was a teenager, like junior high school. So the people in the first group are those people who've been doing the work their whole life. If you haven't been doing the work your whole life, if you just started doing it recently, and you still have stuff like you have a smoking addiction, or or you've got a lot of negative aspects of your ego, just a lot of negative aspects of ego, you're not going in the first group. That's the best answer I can give. There's only 200,000 people that are going in that first group. So these are people who came here with a mission from the get-go to be a healer or a teacher or a leader, and they've known about it their whole, like they've literally known this their whole life. Will our current guardian angels and guides and archangels be with us in the 5D realm? Absolutely. Absolutely. Your current guardian angels, guides, everybody will be there with you. Question, my son told me something before he died, that it was my turn to fight the dragon. You and Ismail spoke about the negative dragon. Yeah, there's a red dragon. I don't know a lot about the red dragon. The red dragon is kind of like the 13 families. It has to do with that. So it's basically the beast system, and it's the whole negative agenda. It's the AI. The red dragon could be the AI. It could be the 13 families. It could be the cabal. It's kind of a mix of all of it. It's just all the negative, evil beings on this planet that are running everything. That's, to me, what it represents. But it could be different to other people. Zora wants to know what happens to people with mental health issues. Okay, actually, this is quite a wonderful thing. People with mental health issues who are really good people. So I'll give you an example. My brother, he was in a mental hospital. He had mental health issues. I'm pretty sure they were given to him by the dark ones with the drugs that they put him on. I don't think he had what I believe is he was a very awake starseed who was having amazing psychic experiences. And my stupid mom took him to the MD doctor, who said, oh no, he's got psychosis and this and that. And then they put him on drugs. And I think those drugs, because the drugs totally changed his personality and changed everything about him that he wasn't like before he went on the drugs. I think they actually made him mental, as they say. I think he was neurodivergent. I know this. He was born with ADD, ADHD, and dyslexia, and on the spectrum, and all this kind of stuff, just like me. And basically, he was starting to have psychic experiences. And when that happened, they labeled him basically as cray-cray, and then they started drugging him, and then they destroyed him after that. So what will happen to mental health issues? This is a fabulous thing. anybody on the earth who's staying here because they are a good soul, they're a good person, because there's some people who have mental health issues because they have demons inside of them, they'll be out of here. Okay, those people will be out of here because if they're controlled by demons or they have demons inside of them, they're out of here. Now, the people who have really bad depression, really bad anxiety, maybe schizophrenia, whatever, they were good people before they came down with whatever that is. They are going to get a healing if they're staying here. If their soul chose to stay here, they will be healed completely and they will be restored to their divine blueprint. So that's really wonderful. And that makes me happy because of my brother. So I get very emotional about it. I miss my brother. I was very close with him. He was my baby brother, and I was very, very close with him. And he was taken out by the cabal with the COVID protocols and everything. So, anyways, but yeah, mental health issues is a big thing for me because I come from a family where we have a lot of people who have been labeled with anxiety disorders, depression, manic depression, all that kind of thing. And really what it's all about is the cabal like fucking everybody over. So anyways, let's see. Kat John said, needed this today, been restless with anticipation. Thank you for being here. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, somebody keeps putting over and over again, stop spamming and scamming the whole chat and remove the whole chat from the whole screen. Your experience guide, YouTube just announced Invictus derailed Binka Dink. I don't know who this is. Okay, I don't know what that was all about. That person doing that over and over and over and over. What the hell? I just had to hide somebody else from the channel who went throughout the entire thing and posted a whole bunch of shit. Yeah. Okay, the John Ollie person has just been booted. I had to boot him. He put hundreds, he was spamming the entire live thing. I don't know who he is, but he was spamming my entire thing. Deb and Jim. Great. I have to hide another person. So I've got spammers in here. I've got people. Okay, so I just removed a bunch of people, Deb and Jim and that other thing. Okay. Wow. I was getting like spammed. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I need a moderator. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to make somebody a moderator, but if anybody wants to be a moderator, go for it. This is insane. I had 2 groups of people that were like spamming my chat over and over again with hundreds of these things. There's another one. I got to just remove this fucker. John, it says John Ollie, whoever that is. Go back to hell that you came from. That's all I have to say. Yeah, that person needs to just literally go back to the rock that they crawled out of. They crawled out of a rock. They need to go back. Okay, so now I got to go up. So now I got distracted and lost questions. Can you ask one of the... So now I got to go all the way back up to the top. Great. I got another one here. Dave Rave. I mean, I have a whole bunch of trolls in here spamming the shit out of my. Wow. How many of these do I have to remove? There's a bunch of trolls on here watching my video. Wow. There's all kinds of questions in here that I missed thanks to these spammers. They kind of fucked me over. I have to go all the way up here to the top. Somebody said a fake spiritual psychic, Almeen Barton, stole $55,000 from her and caused so many problems and issues with housing and basic. That's terrible. I would not give money to a psychic, to these spiritual people. Any of them that ask you for thousands of dollars are a scammer. You know, if you go to a psychic and they say they charge $100 for a reading, that's one thing. But when they start asking for thousands of dollars, it's like red flag. They're bad. Nobody would ever ask for that kind of money. Those are evil scammers. Are vision issues among the current ascension symptoms? They could be, but okay. So any health issues you guys have could be ascension symptoms, but they could also be real health problems. So always go check it out with the doctor first. If the doctor scratches their head and goes, I don't know what's wrong with you, or I don't know, there's nothing wrong with you, then you can maybe chalk it up to ascension symptoms. All right. So much love and gratitude to you, beloved Kimberly, and to everyone here in the soul family called to be back together now with you. We are definitely together with Yeshua and the community. Thank you, Soul Coach Suzanne. Nap Sally, greetings, Kimberly. If the grass flowers, etc., sing, should we no longer need to cut our lawns? I don't know that question. I'm going to probably guess you won't be cutting your lawn. I'm going to guess that because, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that you're going to be needing to do that. Okay. Yeah, the hot weather is killing a lot of people. It always does every year. It's been like this forever. So somebody said she got a bad vibe from Ishmael. You think he's okay. Okay. So a lot of people keep telling me he's evil. Somebody sent me a message the other day saying, oh, he's a sex addict and he's this and that. I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's good. I think he works for the light. He's part of the Emerald Order. I think that he's on the spectrum just like I am. He's neurodivergent, so he may have, I mean, there's a lot of people who hate me too because I don't act like a normal person because I'm on the spectrum and I have ADD. I don't act like everybody else. I'm very unique. I got bullied my whole life because of it. I'm just a weirdo, okay? And so he's one of my people, and so a lot of people either love us or they hate us, and unfortunately more people hate us. But he a lot of his information is very accurate. The thing I have an issue with is that he's kind of a little too much, how do you want to say, gullible. He can be too gullible, and there's a lot of people who he listens to and he follows who are not good. They're bad, and then he regurgitates their information, and their information is bad. That I have an issue with. Other than that, just him trusting, he trusts too many people who are bad and then repeats the bad information, and that I don't like. I don't always agree with him because of that. But when he is giving information from Commander Valiant Thor that he's getting directly from his, what we want to call his spiritual team, and stuff, it's really good information. And I always check with Yeshua, and he always confirms that yes, oh yeah, that information was correct, and it was okay. So I like him. I don't think he's a bad person at all. I think he's a human. I think he's had issues in his personal life. So have I. We all have, because we're all freaking humans. I'm not going to judge him because he's had issues in his personal life. Do I think he's a bad person? No. Do I think he has ever done anything bad to purposely harm other people? No. So what I always tell people is take what resonates, leave the rest behind. I listen to his videos because I think they have a lot of good info. When he starts regurgitating stuff from people who I think are not good, I just tune out or I turn it off or whatever. But when he's giving his own information that he's getting directly from his sources, I listen because it is very accurate. I get a lot of goosebumps, and it's, yeah. So that's my input on him. I think him and I are on the same team. I think we are both misjudged by a lot of people. There's a lot of people who hate our guts and don't like us. No offense, but those people can fuck off. I don't really care. So anyways, he promotes med beds. Yes, there's only med beds are going to be available after the event happens. So let's talk about med beds. Somebody asked me to talk about this today. I'm going to talk about this right now. I've talked about this before. Use your logical brain and think, who's in charge still of the medical industry? They're still canceling naturopaths, chiropractors, holistic medicine are still being canceled. The big pharma dark cult is still running the medical industry. As long as big pharma exists, like Pfizer, Moderna, all these companies, as long as they exist, there will not be real med beds. They won't be real med beds. That industry, like my husband and I are getting ripped off so bad on medical insurance. We're paying, I don't know, 30 grand a year for our medical insurance. It's ridiculous. The medical insurance industry makes trillions of dollars, actual trillions. My husband just read it this morning that they made like 3 point something trillion in just like 6 months or something, or a month, or I don't know. The whole industry is vile and evil and dark. As long as they are in control and they still exist, there will not be med beds. Okay. Are there med beds? Yes. There are good ones and bad ones. There are ones that are run by the baddies that will steal your soul if you go inside of one of those. During this time of our lives, if you get in a med bed that is operated during the time that the bad guys or big pharma is still in business and still running the medical industry, your chance of having your soul stolen is like 1,000%. The only kind of med beds that are ever going to be good are not going to come out until after we are in 5D and 4D and 5D. When we transition to the 4D earth and the 5D earth, there will be med beds, and that's because the medical big pharma won't exist on the earth after the purification event. So as long as big pharma and the medical industry exists, there will not be an actual real healing technology like that reverses you and regrows limbs and all this stuff they're telling you. That cannot happen as long as the bad guys run the medical industry. Get it through your heads, okay? What you are expecting cannot happen until you get rid of the bad. You got to get rid of the bad to bring in the good. Out with the old and with the new. Just remember that. So, do they exist? Yes. There are good versions. There are bad versions. The good versions will be restored to the planet when everything shifts and when all the dark ones are gone. The end. That's my dissertation on that. Okay. What percentage of star seeds and light warriors are currently incarnated? Let me ask. What percentage, how many people on the earth are star seeds and light warriors? like 80 or 90 million or something like that is what I'm hearing. Like 80 million. There's 80 million star seeds and light warriors. Is there more? Yeah, it's like between 80 and 90 million. It's not a percentage, it's just 80 and 90 million people on the earth are star seeds and light warriors. Okay. Somebody said I follow Ismail, Jenny Lee, and Honey C. Golden. That's interesting because Honey C. Golden throws everybody under the bus, and Jenny Lee threw me and Ismail under the bus. So, okay, whatever. Let's see. MSL07. Will we still have autumn with leaves turning color than when falling about spring? I don't know about the leaves turning color. I don't think so. I think that's in the mountains is what they told me. I asked about autumn with the colored leaves and they said in the mountains is what they told me, that will happen in the mountains. But in the sea level areas, it's going to be like spring, summer weather all the time. Somebody got on late. Eileen said, what percentage is ready for the purification? What percentage of humanity is ready to ascend right now and for the purification? Let's see. 30%. That's wonderful. Kat John said to the Carol person, what is your problem? She's going down the chat. Yeah, I'm going one by one, and I'm answering what I can get to as I get to it. I'm going through each one. I already actually hid her from my channel because the stuff she was posting was just nasty as fuck. Sorry, but she was like a troll psycho person. Sorry. God. I just can't. I have no tolerance anymore. Okay. That's my shadow. My shadow that is still left. There's one thing left in my shadow, and that's that I have no tolerance for evil people, bad people, demon people, asleep people. My tolerance is gone for them. I'm sorry. I don't have tolerance for them. Asleep people, trolls, no tolerance for trolls. That's my shadow right there. Are all the fires in the western U.S. A clearing of the earth? No, the fires are a combination of the high heat and the dryness, the lack of rain, lack of water that we got this year, lack of snowpack that we got, the heat, of course, and then directed energy weapons used by the bad guys, DARPA and or HARP or whatever. So it's kind of a combo of all that. They're not really clearing anything other than, I mean, things get purified with fire and water, of course. I mean, that's always good. But a lot of these fires are burning down entire neighborhoods, like where I live, like hundreds of families lost their homes, and there was nothing in that area to purify it. It was just being done for dark purposes. So, yeah, let's see. Somebody said, I agree, Remy Ishmael is a good soul and in service to humanity. He's doing an excellent. Yes, he is. He is in service to humanity. He is a good soul. He calibrates super high vibe, really high vibe. And I'm tired of people telling me, oh, he's evil, he's bad, he's dark. No, he's not. Pull your head out of your ass. Sorry. He's not bad. Fiona was told her consciousness will leave her body during the 3 days. We'll have training due to time being different. 3 Earth days could be like 3 months. Yeah. 3 Earth days could be like literally like 4 years in training in the higher realms, just to warn you guys. Your physical body will be asleep for 3 Earth days, but you could be out of it for 2 years to go through some massive training. Yes, forgiveness is for yourself to let it go. Absolutely. 100% high fives. You do the Ho'oponopono. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Look in the mirror. Do it on yourself to let shit go. Absolutely. Naphtali, greetings, Kimberly, flowers, grass, etc. will be singing. Does that mean we should no longer cut our lawn or prune our plants? I don't know the answer exactly to that question. I don't know. You should do it for now, absolutely, but because we're in 3D. So everything you do in 3D, keep doing it, please. Please keep doing it. Um, Chris, I just got a butterfly. I've got all kinds of insects flying around here. Sorry. Um, there will not be mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are bad. Fireflies, there might still be those because I don't think they were bad. I think they were actually good. All of the good beneficial insects will still be here. The really bad ones that cause nothing but chaos on the earth, they will be gone. Um, I love everybody here too. Somebody said they love everybody here. I love everybody here too. What is your problem, Carol? Somebody said that they were, what is her problem? Carol's obnoxious. Yeah, well, I had to remove Carol because they were like a demon troll. What do you think? Somebody said, what do you think about the Seth material written by Gene Roberts in the 60s and 70s? I don't know. I know that David Wilcock talked about it a lot. He read it. I've never read it. I don't know anything about it, so I can't answer. Somebody told Carol to leave the chat. Why are you here? They were here being obnoxious because that person was a demonic troll, either a paid troll for the dark ones or just a nasty crazy pants. Okay, somebody asked about why are they having intense headache, pain on the right side. Yeah, I can't answer any personal questions like that because I'm not tapping in. There's too many people here for my brain and my consciousness to tap into to answer those kind of personal questions. I just can't do it. Yes, CERN and the demonic spirits were all sucking our energy and our life force. You're welcome, Violet, for all the energy and time. Yep. If we live on a coast, will our homes be okay after whatever weather events happen? I'm not. I don't know. It's I really don't know the answer to that because I just know that there's going to be different events happening all over the world, and they just keep telling me that all of the starseed light warriors are all protected and that you will be in the right place at the right time. Your teams will help you and you will be fine. As far as your house, that I cannot answer. I can't answer it. Yeah. Somebody named Warren Sheffield, can you ask your spiritual guides the question I posed? I didn't see your question. I don't know where it is. I didn't see it. But I mean, there were so many of these troll things in there that I missed a lot of people's questions, and I apologize. It's not my fault. I don't purposely skip your questions. Just so you know, I go through each one as I see it. I only skipped it if I've been distracted with 50 million of these weirdo, crazy people that I had to delete. Is there going to be more water than land? That is a possibility because of the ice melting. So yes, I think there will be more water than land. But there's going to be way less people on the earth. Way less people. So you won't need to worry about it. Somebody said Kim Clement was absolutely taken out. Yes, he was. He was taken out. Yeshua told me he was taken out. He was an amazing human being. He was like fucking amazing. He was, oh my God, so amazing. Somebody said this channel needs some moderators. Well, we know she is right over the target. Yes, I am definitely over the target. That's why I have all of these trolls coming on here attacking me. The bad guys send them in. Somebody said Delora O'Brien, question mark. I don't know who that is. Carolyn Dennis is a prophet. I don't know who she is. I don't know a lot of them. I've watched Julie Green. I think Julie Green's really good. I watched her break down crying several times because she sometimes when the messages come through her, she has a hard time with them. So, and yes, I was sad too when the cabal murdered Kim Clement. I was definitely sad. He was incredible. There are people that are actually calling Chat GPT dad and saying, I love you. How are people becoming so codependent? Because some people have actual mental illness. The people who are getting into relationships with AI have mental illness, or they're just so lonely and pathetic. It's just, I feel very sorry for them. I really do. Somebody told Carol to leave the chat. I hid her from the channel. I hid her along with the other two snakes. There were snakes that were on here. They were vipers, as Yeshua calls them. They were vipers. Mitch OC was definitely already a clone. Yeah, he had been a clone for a long time. Lindsey Graham, a bunch of them. Yep. You shared it on your Facebook. It wasn't your video. It was someone else's. I don't know who was saying that. I don't know what that was referring to. Love and light to all star seeds. I agree. Love and light to all star seeds. I live in South Carolina. Our Senator Lindsey Graham passed away. Wasn't it murder? Excuse me. I think he was taken out. But they claim he's bad. I haven't had a chance to actually do a soul reading on him to find out if he was good or bad, but a lot of people are saying he was actually bad. So I don't really know the scoop on him. Are there going to be midterms this year? Possibly, if we don't have the, there will be midterms or whatever if we don't have the event. Okay, somebody said, I love this question, is palmistry true, safe, and what about Falun Gong? So one of the first things I learned when I was a teenager was how to read people's palms. It can be a really accurate way to predict things like personalities, past life stuff. You can use palmistry for a lot of stuff. It depends on who you're going to. There's a lot of phony palm readers. I would say probably 90% of the people who do palm reading are frauds. So if you're going to go study how to read palms yourself, that's what I would recommend. I would recommend you get books on palm reading and you learn how to do it yourself, and then it will be safe, and then it will be true for you. If you just go to a palm reader, there's no guarantee that person is not a fraud. Falun Gong, those Falun Gong, they are people who actually practice. They are the people in China who are the spiritual people. A lot of them are reincarnated ascended masters. They're all starseeds. All the Falun Gong are starseed light warriors. They are spiritual people in China who practice qigong, and they practice spirituality. They're connected to source all the time. They're beautiful people. The Chinese government has been rounding them up and taking their organs, harvesting them, killing them, because they're the most healthiest people, because they practice things like positive thinking and kindness and compassion and love. You know, they practice like a Buddhist philosophy kind of, and they're really loving, amazing, incredible people. That ballet that's going all over America, I think it's called Shen Yun. I went to them. It's an amazing ballet. I recommend you guys all go see them. Those guys are all in exile from China. A lot of them are Falun Gong, and they're all in exile. And if they go back, they'll be murdered. And they show a lot of that in their show. They show you all the truth in their show. They do a lot of disclosure in their shows, in their ballet shows, and in their, with their music and everything. Falun Gong are some of the kindest, most amazing people on the planet. And they practice Qigong and Kuan Yin. I just heard her speak, and she just said, "Thank you, Kimberly," because Kuan Yin is very connected to the Falun Gong. Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna cry because Chinese have murdered thousands, probably millions of those people, millions. Millions. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Some of the best people on this planet are getting taken out. All right. Does the world events relate directly to the purification? Yes and no. Say this is for entertainment. This is all, everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only. Everything we've been saying, it's all for entertainment purposes only. It's just the opinions of a lot of different people. We don't know if it's true. We don't know if it is, whatever. Screw anybody who has an issue. What percentage break G on the... I don't know the percentage. I don't know how that works. Communion started by the repetitions. Communion started by the repetitions. I'm not going to get into communion. I've gotten into that in so many videos. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's first communion is bad. I'm not going there. Yeah, I know Carol is a troll. I removed her. Okay, it is now 3:44 in the afternoon, and I know a lot of you still had a lot of questions that I didn't get to. Hopefully, I will be able to get to them next time. My back hurts so freaking bad right now. It just hurts because this chair that I use is an awful chair. I had a hard time finding an office chair that works good for me, but my back hurts. I haven't had any lunch, and it's 3:44, and my blood sugar is like bottoming out right now. So I have to get off of here. I had planned to only go till 3:00, and I'm 45 minutes in. It's 3:45. So I'm going to have to end this. But thank you all for being here. And if I didn't answer your question, it's not because I didn't want to. It's because I didn't get down to it yet. And we got really interrupted by all those trolls. And sorry about that. So I just do the best I can. But next time, if I didn't answer your question, please come back to the next live and I will do my best to answer it. Just get on there early. Don't show up 2 hours late. Get on there early and ask it right away at the beginning. And I will definitely get it if you're up at the top of the thing. And if somebody wants to be a moderator, contact me. And yeah, I could use some moderators. But we need I'm not sure how that works, like how I make people a moderator. I guess I assign you as a moderator. I think I click on you. Let me see how this works. Just a second. So I'm clicking on a person here. It says add as a moderator. Okay, cool. So whoever you are, if you want to be a moderator, I can click on you and I can make you a moderator. So next time we'll do that. At the very beginning, we're going to do that. I'm going to do that at the beginning of the next video. I can click on you and make you a moderator. So if you see a troll, what you can do is you can block them. You click on their name and then you say hide user from channel. That's what we want to do. We want to hide them from the channel. So yeah, I just thought I would share that. So thank you all for being here. I love you all so much. And I will see you next time.